Hello, welcome to another episode of Club Shay Shay. I am your host, Shannon Sharpe. I'm also the proprietor of Club Shay Shay. The lady that's stopping by for conversation and a drink today is one of the most relatable women out here today. She is an ATL-born comedian, stand-up superstar, selling out shows nationwide, popular actress, successful host, podcast celebrity, entertainment mogul, NAACP-nominated author, star, creator, writer, executive producer of the Emmy-nominated sitcom Ms.Pat Show, BET, B++, first ever Emmy nomination, a loved mother, a wife, and an auntie. Here she is, Miss Pat.
Well, damn, you did your homework. I ain't never been introduced like that unless I was in court.
This is not the first time we met. Tell the people the first time that we met.
So we was on the plane on Delta coming to Atlanta, and I think something was going on with the football, but I got to talking, and I said I was a Falcon fan, and so you Louis Vuitton down, and that was early in my career, and I had a Gucci book bag, and I had a Louis Vuitton purse, and you was like, hey, you gonna have to get your stuff to match. All your labels got to match, and I was like, you go to hell. I got what I could buy when I can buy, and so when now my stuff do match, and I always think of you. I was like, black ass gonna get out the plane and tell me my shit need to match.
Thank you so much, Miss Pat, for stopping by. I know you're busy. You got a lot going on. Been watching your shows. So I would like to take a little toast of your career. Congratulations on everything that you've accomplished, everything that you've overcome, and much, much more to come. Just a little.
Shannon, I don't drink. One more sip of that, you gonna have me hollering like you had that other woman hollering.
There you go.
Baby.
I thought we were gonna get like a 3-month grace period.
Well, I don't know. This is my first time seeing you since that happened. I was like, that's a man that go to the gym. And I could tell, I don't know, but in the black community, we was assuming she was white the way she was hollering. Because most sister could have tucked that. Like, she was hollering like she wasn't used to it. So I was like, all right then, Shannon, that's how you put out a sex tape with no film, just sound. Shannon,
no comment.
You put out a sex tape for the people, for the blind people. Woo, hi. What was her name, Michelle? I don't know.
Oh, Lord.
I know everybody been ragging you on that.
Yeah, you come in right off the rip too.
But you know what? That's good. What are you,
56?
You 56. That's good to hear a 56-year-old man making that kind of sound in the bedroom. Cause usually y'all just fart. you know, to hear the headboard going and no gas in the air. I was proud of you. I was a proud black mom.
Thank you. Well, congratulations. The Miss Pat Show just got picked up for its season number 5. What has it been like for this newfound celebrity for you?
People call it celebrity. Shannon, I'm gonna be honest with you. I live right here in Atlanta, and when I'm not doing the Miss Pat Show, I be at TJ Maxx with a wig on backwards. I don't want to get recognized, but I do get recognized.
Yes.
So I just say I look at it as a job.
Right.
People gonna recognize me. I take a picture with a filter if I don't have on makeup. And I mean, I'm glad that people are noticing the work that I'm putting out there. Mm-hmm. But to say, I don't really use the word celebrity. I'm your friend at the grocery store. I'm your friend at TJ Maxx. Mm-hmm. I love TJ Maxx.
Yeah.
Yeah, Home Goods.
Is this newfound success everything that you thought it would be?
The money is good. Because my background. I sold crack for his checks. It is nice to be able to go in there and swipe a card that belongs to you.
And not have to pray that the money on the card, huh?
No, not have to pray that the police gonna come out the back. I didn't have them cards that wasn't the money. I had the card with the money that wasn't mine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So if you looking back where you are right now, Miss Pat, what would your 10-year-old self, what would you tell yourself?
I would tell my 10-year-old self, we made it. We made it. I look over my life, and my kids really young and went through a lot. And all I ever wanted to do is just show my kids show my kids a life that I never had. Mm-hmm. And, this year I finished my house off of TikTok. I was a contractor. It was about 15,000 square feet. And to pull up to that house.
15,000?
Yeah, I built.
Telling jokes?
But I'm a DIY person. I'm a DIY person. I was a subcontractor.
Okay.
So I did
you did a lot of it yourself.
Yeah, I did a lot of it myself. Not the work. I just contracted it out, and I had it planned. I saved a certain amount of money. So I look back, and and the things that I'm putting in place for my kids and my grandkids when I'm no longer here, and I can say I'm fine. Somebody finally get to leave generational wealth.
Right.
And I'm at 14. I had my first kid at 14, dropped out of school in the 8th grade. And to be able to do all of this and to help my immediate family, it means a lot to me.
Right.
It do.
As a former NFL player, I know a thing or two about high performance, and that's why I drive the BMW 7 Series. This car has everything I need. It's big enough, comfortable enough, and luxurious enough to meet even my high expectations. When I'm behind the wheel of the BMW, I'm not just driving a car, I'm driving legacy. What I love most is the precision engineering, cutting-edge technology, and unmatched style, whether it's spacious interior, the powerful engine, or the smooth ride. BMW makes sure every detail is on point. I trust BMW to deliver the ultimate driving experience, and I know you will too. So why wait? Head over to BMWUSA.com, check out models like the sporty X3, the all-electric i4. Build your dream car today and join me in experiencing luxury and performance that only the ultimate driving machine can offer. You're from ATL. What is some of your favorite, and we're going to get into your childhood, your upbringing, but what are some of your fondest memory as a child?
Going to Grandma Biscuit with my stepdaddy Curtis.
Okay.
Right there off I want to say it was Moreland Avenue, but he used to wake us up every morning on a Saturday and take us to Grandma Biscuit. And they used to have these biscuits called cat head biscuits. Okay. And he would buy a sausage and biscuit. I'm quite sure it was like $1 back then. But that was a lot of money. My stepdaddy was a mechanic. And he would take us there and he would set us in Grandma Biscuit, me and my sister, at 5 o'clock in the morning. He would never eat. He would buy us the biscuit. He would drink a cup of coffee. And that was, when him and my mama broke up, that was one of the things I missed the most. That father figure, getting us up at 5 o'clock and doing the things that I was used to do. So that's a big memory for me.
Did you stay in contact with him after they separated?
Yeah, he used to come over and drop off school clothes and stuff like that. And, he still, actually when he died, I helped bury him.
Wow, that's unbelievable. What's your proudest moment as a child?
My proudest moment as a child, I remember I went to this, back in the day, they would have these Black history plays in school. So kids don't get to do this anymore, but you had to really act out. If you were Martin Luther King, you needed to know that speech. You needed to be dressed like him. You need to change your voice. You had to become that person.
Right.
And this particular year, I was Lena Horne, and I had a play, and I did this play, and I asked my mama to come, and I had my speech down pat, and I performed my speech, and I looked in the audience, and my mother wasn't there, and it broke my heart. But I remember walking down the street and I said, "You'll never hurt me anymore."
Wow.
And I think that's when my heart became hardened, and I knew I was going to always have to take care of myself.
Mm-hmm. Well, what type of relationship did you have with your mom?
My mom was a alcoholic. She had 5. I was her 6th child. And I know she dropped out of school, probably elementary school, because my mom was born in the 30s. And, she gave us what was given to her. So it wasn't really a relationship.
Because she was a young mom like yourself,
She was a young mom like myself.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. You was raised you mentioned, I read in your story that you was raised in a bootleg home with your grandfather, right?
Yeah.
And like 10 people at a time.
It was a lot of people.
A lot of people living there. So what was, because I was raised by my grandparents, and I know my life would have been a lot different had I been raised with my parents, because the discipline and what they instilled in me, it was a lot different, grandparents to parents. So what do you remember most about being in that environment?
The bootleg house. Pickpocketing people, music.
You were pickpocketing drunks?
Drunks, yep, music.
You was 7, Ms.Pat?
Well, shit, we was trained too. Don't let me get too close. I might know how to steal your necklace. Just a lot of music, drunk people, fights, all kind of crazy mess. Gambling, people pulling up to the house with moonshine, sex, seeing people have sex. Everything went at Granddaddy house.
Right. So when you say you were trained to Life of crime, basically pickpocket. But why would you pickpocket the people that were going to come back over the next week and buy more alcohol and drink?
Well, they didn't remember.
They just thought they lost the money or something. Huh?
Well, once you fall asleep, you don't know what you got. My mama would train us how to do that.
Wow. You were like, oh, mama, this ain't right.
No, at one point, I was watching Sesame Street, and my mom would give us like $2 to $3 or something like that per customers, and I was learning fraction, and they said 10%, and I asked her for 10%, but neither one of us knew how to count 10% of what I stole.
So she gave you 10 cents, like a dime.
No, she gave me $10.
She gave you 10. So you were only 10% of whatever you took in.
Yes.
But she didn't know what 10% meant.
And neither
you
did I.
didn't know what 10% meant. So she gave you $10, and you might have
$5 to $10, and I was happy because all I wanted to do was play Pac-Man.
the video game.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, Ms.Pat. I read that your mom couldn't read.
Yes.
And you dropped out. You had your first kid at 14. You got pregnant at 13. First kid at 14. Had another kid by the time you was 15. Dropped out of school.
And I had an abortion when I was 16. Yeah.
Damn, Ms.Pat.
By a married man.
Huh?
By a married man.
Oh, Ms.Pat.
What?
I mean, so he was married. So I'm. Let's just say, for the sake of I don't know how old he is. I'm gonna assume he's probably in his mid-20s, maybe late 20s.
He was in his early 20s, and I was 12 when I met him.
Did your mom know about this guy?
She didn't care. It happened to her. You know, each one teach one. So it happened to her. So, you know, nobody protected her. So how did she know how to protect me? Now, I knew how to protect my daughter because I told my daughter when I had her, I said, you would never go through what I went through.
Right.
And she did.
Because you had to break the cycle. Because a lot of times, Ms.Pat, people raise kids kind of how they were raised.
Yes.
Unless they choose to break that cycle. If you were disciplined tough, a lot of times you discipline your kids.
I did discipline tough. I made a lot of mistakes with I had 2 sets of kids. I call them my Medicaid and my Blue Cross Blue Shield kids. But I made a lot of mistakes with my first kids because a lot of that hurt, I brought it into my parenthood. And when I met my husband, he was like, hey, you don't be talking to the kids like that. But he grew up with a mom and a dad in a Christian household. Right. You know, I grew up being talked to a certain way, and I did the same thing to my kids.
Right. I read that you guys got baptized at a lot of different churches because they would feed you.
They would give us baskets. They would let us go to the bottom of the church, and we would get food. You know, back in the day, if you had financial problems, you would go to the church and get baptized, and the church would write you a check, and then you can go to the pantry. Well, that was a hustle for my mama. So we got baptized a lot, like 25 times, to the point where I was like, I'm sick of this damn water. And she would hate when they wrote her a check on Sunday, too, because she couldn't cash it on Monday.
Ms.Pat, you gotta write a book.
I did. I wrote a book. It's called Rabbit.
No, this need to be a movie.
It do need to be a movie. Hollywood.
Because your upbringing. I mean, look, a lot of us have. You know, obviously, we all go through something. Sometimes it's more than others. But listening and researching your story, I'm like, man, for you to overcome and to be where you are currently, do you look back and do you think about how blessed you actually are?
Yeah, but to get where I'm at, and I tell this every time I tell this story, I had to forgive the people who harmed me.
Oh, okay.
You can't get anywhere when you hate. When you hate something or somebody, that hate will control you. So there was a time I hated my mama for allowing this grown man to sleep with me. You know, letting other men. My baby daddy wasn't the first one. I've been molested several times before he even got to me. So I grew hate for my mother. And then once I, got older and realized what my kid's father had done to me, I started to hate him too. But when you hate something or somebody, you can't live. Yeah. So my mama is dead, so I was never going to be able to ask her for forgiveness. And when I asked my kid's father, he said, well, your mind and body wasn't 12. When I said, why did you sleep with me? I was 12 years old. He said, well, your mind and body wasn't 12. So I knew then I had to forgive him so I could move on. And people always like, I tell these stories with a smile on my face. Well, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna cry?
Right.
What am I gonna cry for?
To hold that kind of resentment all those years.
Yeah,
My grandma used to say, Ms.Pat, there can never be freedom without forgiveness.
That's right.
And so you finally, in order to forgive them, you became free. So if I'm hearing you correctly, was it your mom's boyfriend that molested you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did you tell her about it?
Yeah, and she didn't want to hear it. Because my mama's boyfriend, took care of us.
Okay.
Like he paid the he had a wife,
Okay.
but he come over every day and he bought food and he bought my mama beer, he bought her weed, and he helped her pay her little rent in her little efficiency house where we lived at.
Okay.
So, I kind of feel like my mom was like, well, I had to give him something more than just me. So she looked the other way. That's what because when we tried to tell her, shut the hell up, don't nobody want to hear that. And we never said it again. And he did it many times.
You said we.
Me and my sister.
He slept with, it was both of you
Yeah,
guys?
he touched both of us. Mm-hmm.
Man. Is that where the resentment really started from that moment when you tried to explain to your mom what was going on and she turned a blind eye?
Well, this was before my kid's father. He molested us before I met my kid's father.
Right.
But it was just a whole lot of other stuff, that I saw as a kid. Like my mama would let my sister go up the hill with this older guy. And my sister would be like, I'm not lying. I think my sister was probably 8 because we 2 years apart. So she was no longer older than 10. She was like, that's my boyfriend. And I couldn't understand it because that man was old as fuck. And he would take up the hill and bring her back. And as I got older and I started putting 2 and 2 together, I was like, my mama was letting that man mess with her. And she didn't try it with me because I was really rebellious. I was like, I'm not doing that.
I can tell.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. Yeah. I'm tired of getting my ass dug in. Y'all gonna leave me the fuck alone. So I need some type of pureness when I meet a good man.
Right.
But so I saw my mama do that with my sister.
Right.
And she allowed him to touch us. And you asked me a question earlier, what was one of my most proudest moments? And I said my mama. Can I re-answer that?
Sure.
I think one of my most proudest moments was when I shot the Ms.Pat show in LA and my husband came. Mm-hmm. And my husband went through a lot with my comedian career because I had no money. I was not making no money. He man working at General Motors. He don't understand a dream. Take your black ass to work. His daddy worked for the city of Atlanta his whole life. His brother didn't work. Well, I've been a hustler.
Right.
I'm out here doing comedy. I ain't making no money. He's like, are you damn crazy? And I told my husband, I said, one day I'm gonna get a TV show. And he was like, yeah, what the ever. And when he came to LA, and he saw me shoot the Ms.Pat show. And at the end of the second shoot, I thanked everybody for helping me put the show together. And I looked up at my husband and I say, thank you for allowing me to max out your credit card. Thank you. Because, I tore his ass up. I was stealing them and everything. Thank you for watching these kids. Not only my kids that wasn't yours, the 2 I had by you and my sister 4 kids. Thank you for allowing me to put 6 kids in your life instantly and be there for me. Thank you for saying no, but not really saying no. And my husband bust out crying. And that's the only time I ever seen him cry. Because I knew he was proud of me. Because, when I started dating him, his family was like, she a welfare queen. I had Section 8. I had a lot of food stamps. I wasn't going to go to work until I fucked around and, voted for Bill Clinton and went through the welfare to work program. He tricked me. But I was lazy.
Right.
And my husband would always tell me, you're a smart person. Why you like this? And I've told this story 100 times. He gave me Outcast, Get Up and Get Out and Get Some. And that motivated me. But I have to thank my husband because without him, I wouldn't be here. Because that man went through a lot with this comedy career. Yeah. No money, gone all the time. He watching all the kids. He getting them up. He trying to do hair. He running there after he don't work the 8 to 10 hour shift at General Motors and never complained.
Your original 2 kids that you had before you met him, you had 2 kids with him, and you had, if I'm not mistaken, you had your sister kids.
I had my sister 4 kids.
4 kids. So that's 8 kids.
Yes, and I don't even think we were 25.
Ms.Pat, if you don't mind me asking, and you can recall, what is the ages of these 8 kids?
When I met my husband, my son was 5 and my daughter was 7.
Okay.
And then I got my sister 4 kids, which was I think it was a baby that was 6 months, probably a 2-year-old or 8-year-old, a 7-year-old like my daughter, and probably a 3-year-old. So off the back, he got 6 kids.
And then you wanted more?
Well, I'm from the hood, so I figured, I gotta have a baby by this man to make me serious. I'm not gonna even lie. I was like, if I don't have a baby by this man, he gonna leave me. But they leave anyway, but he's such a good guy. And when I went to try to get pregnant, I had an abortion that damaged my uterus.
Right.
And so they was like, your tubes are blocked. And I was like, damn, I can't have no baby by this man. He gonna get tired of me just taking care of all these crack babies.
Right.
And I ended up pregnant. And then I lose the baby a day before his birthday. And I remember I was so hard at the time, Shannon, my husband booing. Because I lose the baby a day before his birthday. I had to give birth. And he's crying, and I tell my husband, he's very upset. And I said, dude, don't worry about that damn baby. We can do this shit again tomorrow. He looked at me like, what the hell? But I got pregnant again. And I have a daughter named Garyana. She's 26.
Was the reason, can you, if you don't mind explaining why you took custody or took responsibility for your sister's kids?
My sister's on crack.
Okay.
She's still on crack. I have her grandkids now. Now we're taking care of her grandkids. We've had them for 11 years. So when the defect worker called me and said, if you don't come get them, we're going to put them in a foster home. And I immediately thought, I can't imagine how these kids going to grow up. Every child deserves to start off on a solid foundation in this country, in this world.
And they might even separate them.
Yeah, they might even separate because the baby was 6 months. So I went and got all 4 of them. And I got back and my husband's bags were packed. And I was like, I can't choose between you and these kids. I said, because I love both of y'all and they need us. And I jumped on top of the car, screaming and hollering. He just went on ahead and parked and went back upstairs. And we 31 years now.
We're gonna expand on that topic, but I read that your mom was physically abusive with you.
Yes.
When you got out, I guess, whipping, verbally abusive, physically abusive.
Yes.
So what was some of the things that you would do, or did you felt that, because a lot of times, obviously growing up, when we grew up, I'm much older than Ms.Pat. I'm pretty sure I am.
No, I'm 52. We neck and neck.
But like when you did things wrong in the South, you were in the South, Atlanta, the South, you grew things wrong.
Switches, a stitching code.
They didn't play. It wasn't no, you could talk back or you suck your teeth or you stomp. That got you whipping. Did you ever feel your mom gave you a whipping that wasn't deserved?
All the time. All the time. And my mama was, and I was the same way. Sometimes I can still get that away, but I have to calm myself down. Her tongue did more whipping than anything. I was not the prettiest sister. My sister was beautiful to me. She's about your complexion. She had real wavy hair. Before she got on drugs, she was just drop dead gorgeous. And my mom used to always call me ugly ass. You ugly ass.
Really?
And I never thought that I looked like anything because my whole life I was told I was ugly. And then coming up through puberty, I had really bad acne that nobody did anything about. So when I met this 20-something-year-old man and he finally said the magic words, I love you, I fell for it because my whole life I was told I was ugly. I literally, nobody had ever told me I was pretty. My sister was always told that she was pretty. And she was.
To hear your mom say, you ugly ass, you ugly bee, knowing that that's probably, even though you're a child, a parent shouldn't talk to their child like that.
Yeah, I made those mistakes with my kids too. I don't think I would call them ugly, but I might say, stop being, I've said some ugly things in the beginning that I still work on to this day. And a lot of it has to do with the way I was raised. Did
you ever talk to your mom and ask your mom why she talked to you like this? Why was she so mean to you? Because was she mean like that to your sister?
Not to me, no. When we had kids, when we both had our first kids, because my daughter was born August the 9th and my sister's daughter was born May the 9th, right? And we both had babies back to back by 2 brothers. Make a long story short, my mama would never keep my kid. But she would always keep my sister kid.
Why?
Because she didn't like me. I felt like she didn't love me. And I felt like she thought that my baby wasn't pretty as my sister baby. And so at one point I was scared to even try to leave my daughter with my mama because my mama cared more about my niece than she did my child. That's how I felt.
Did that ever cause resentment between you and your sister because she called your sister pretty, called you ugly? She kept your niece but wouldn't keep your own child.
Yeah.
Did that ever cause resentment between you and your sister?
Not me and my sister really wasn't never close because we got in the streets so early. My sister got out into the world doing what she's doing, drugs or whatever. And so we really didn't have that sister relationship. That's what I love about the Ms.Pat show, because Tammy Roman give me that sister that I never have. And she don't know how many times I've walked away and just with joy in my heart or tears in my eyes, because that's something that I always wanted. And for her to play my sister on that show, she fills a void in my life. But me and my sister was never, ever. I wanted to help my sister the way it portrayed on the show, but no, I wish. And I've tried to help my sister, like with her grandkids. I tried to help my sister get off drugs, and even now they call me for stuff, and I just say, I don't have time for y'all. And I don't. I'm not gonna waste my money on no crackhead. I'm not, you know, my sister had an aneurysm this year, and she's still smoking crack.
Is it difficult for you to say no, knowing that look, blood doesn't make you family. Blood make you related.
Yes.
Trust, accountability, empathy, compassion. There are a lot of other things that make you more family than just being blood related. How difficult it is for you to do this, to tell your sister, babe, I've done all I can. You got to want to get off this stuff. You got to want to help yourself.
Not difficult at all. I said, hell no. I don't play by my money. I work hard for my money. I leave out that house and jump on the plane every week and come back. My husband is retired. And I said, the last thing I'm going to do is spend my money on you, uncles, and have my husband unretired, because I'm out here trying to pull everybody else out the mud. I say no to everybody. Wow. The answer is no. I'm not going back where I came from. I've seen so many people trying to help their family out of the dirt, and then they end back up in the dirt with them. Right. So I just said no. I'm done. I've helped who I'm helping, and that's it.
Is it true your mom used to shoot let off her gun to get your attention?
Yeah, all the time.
Did it work?
Yeah, we knew she wanted us to come here. Pop out. Yeah, but we knew she would. I never felt like my mom was gonna shoot me. Yeah. Like one time she shot at me when I wouldn't get off the phone with my kid's father. But we knew she was just shooting in the ceiling, you know, because she liked to shoot a gun.
Right. So, you was telling the story earlier. Your baby's father, your first one, was 22. You started seeing him when you was 12. Mm-hmm. You got pregnant at 13, had the baby at 14. And I read, now, is this true that, I don't know if it was the first or the second one, that he showed up to the hospital with a new chick?
Yes, he did. That's the first baby.
Hold on.
And asked her, was I ugly?
Hold on. You have his child. Mm-hmm. He shows up to the hospital with a new, not his wife or a new, not his wife, a new one, and then ask her, "Are you cute?"
Yeah. I'm 14. Yeah, he came by to say hi to me and the baby, and I walked him out, and she was standing out there. Yeah, sure did. And I was too young to really even put everything together. Like, I had heard he had another girlfriend. Yeah. And until she started showing up at the house with clothes. You know, he would drive her car all the time. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, I'm not going to say her name because we still friends to this day. Okay. But we ended up raising our kids as cousins. Wow. We did. For years, we raised our kids as cousins. I still talk to her this day. But, you know, we realized he was a piece of
shit. It wasn't y'all that the issue, it was him. Yeah. Did he get, I'm sure he got divorced. He got
divorced after I had my second child by him. And then she had a baby by him. And she ended up getting married and going on with her life. But we became friends. But yeah, he showed up at the hospital with her. He sure did. He's a cold dude.
Have you always, I shouldn't say this, but you're not attracted to a man he was an older man preying on a child. Mm-hmm.
I ain't his first underage. He's done that since I've been married to my husband. Yes, he have. Yes, he have. I'm not his youngest victim either.
But you know, back then, and it wasn't right then, it's not right now. Older men, they did things of that nature.
Well, I was just in court with him not even 3 years ago for him doing the same thing to his wife's child. He
in jail. He got to be.
No, he's not in jail. No, he's not in jail. They called me because they wanted to show that
there's a pattern of behavior.
There's a pattern of behavior. And I went to court to testify, and he did not go to jail. And I walked out of there, and I actually cried because I felt like if they had locked him up, I would have got some type of justice. Because it's too late for me.
Yes.
You know, the statutory is over for me. But if they can get him on this kid, it would have been I would have.
You'd have felt better. You'd have felt some kind of relief.
Yes, but they didn't.
And he wouldn't be able to do this to anybody else.
No.
Oh my God. You dropped out of school in the 8th grade. So basically you got a 7th grade education. Why did you drop out of school, Miss Pat?
I had 2 kids.
You had to take care of them.
I got pregnant again. I had that first baby, and then I got pregnant. I just turned right back around and got pregnant. And so I had to go to work. My mama got a welfare check, and she only gave me what they added to the check, which was $35, $40. So my mama thought, and this is in '87, I can take care of 2 kids off $40. And
you ain't taking, you can't even take care of yourself off 40, let alone 2 kids, pamper, formula.
And formula is high now. Back in the day, it was like $29 for a case. It's probably $200 for a case now.
Right.
But I had to go to work. I had to find a way. So I got in the streets. You know, I started, my kid's father was selling drugs, and then he was helping me because he had so many women and babies. And then once he went to jail, I started selling drugs. And that's how I took care of my kids.
How did you avoid the temptation that happened to your sister? She got out there in the streets early and she got hooked on the drugs. Is it that you're like, well, I can't get high on my own supply. If I'm selling, I can't use.
I was always turned off. My mama watched a lot of soap operas, and she smoked cigarettes like a dude. I mean, like weed.
She was chain smoker, huh? No,
like just holding it like a dude. My mama did everything like she was a lesbian, and it just turned me off. Like cigarettes, and I would go to school, and back in the day they had Smokey the Bear tell you don't smoke no cigarette. Yep. And so I would come home, and my mom would make us light cigarettes, and I would burn them up on the side. And everything she did, I knew I didn't want to be. And I mean, everything she did, I just despised it. She drank gin and water. She smoked. Only thing I kept was my mom was very funny and she cursed. And that's the 2 things I kept from her. But she was the most depressed person. That's the first time I ever seen depression. She would say the same thing all the time. Curtis left me. That was my stepdaddy. Right. And she would say, these crackers holding me back. And I didn't even know white people were crackers at the time. I thought she was talking about the Keebler elves. and I just said, I don't want to be like that.
Right.
She cried all the time, Shannon. And it's so hard for me to cry now. To me, when I tell my daughters get on me about that all the time. Oh, you so hard on your girls. I said, don't cry. It show weakness. And they was like, there's nothing wrong with crying. Yes, it is. It shows weakness. Because I looked at a lady who cried all the time and talked about the situation she was in and never did nothing about the situation she's in. I hate a person who always talking about what they gonna do and ain't gonna do. I got friends like that, and I let them talk. And they always tell me, you spontaneous. No. I tell my mind what I'm gonna do. Because your mind is strong and it controls the body. It makes the body react. If you say, I can get up, keep saying it, you gonna get up. Even if it might not be today, it might be tomorrow.
Right.
But you gotta feed yourself positive stuff. Positivity. And I can't stand people who say what they gonna do. When I say I told my husband, I said, I'm gonna get me a TV show. I said, I'm a bill comedian. Pat, you should go work at General Motors. I don't want to work at General Motors. Them people, I'm old ass people. I don't want to do no 30 years making no car. I don't want to make no car. You go work at General Motors. And he never understood why I didn't want to do that. And when I found comedy was healing for me because I could tell these stories with a smile on my face and not be ashamed. And I learned that so many people out there like me. And boy, I was like, I'm never going to stop this. And I didn't even do it for the money. I just did it really.
It was therapeutic for you.
Yes. Hitting that stage and finding other people that been through the things that I've been through and understanding the pain. Because my husband, I was just, me and my husband just brought this story to me. So my kid's father used to beat on me a lot, shot me in the back of the head and everything. So I would wake up in the middle of the night and crying and fight. And my husband had to be the General Motors at 5 o'clock. And, you know, he would try to be comfortable. Oh, it's going to be all right. One night I woke up, Shannon, and my husband like, look here, you need to hit that back because I got to go to work in the morning. I never dreamed he was beating on me. My husband said, hit him back, because I'm tired of you waking me up every other night with this bull crap. Whatever y'all doing in that dream, hit that back. And I went back to sleep, and I never got beat up in that dream again.
Wow. The days are warmer, the walks are longer, and one easy way to help your dog shine this season is with fresh, healthy food from Farmer's Dog. Farmer's Dog makes fresh, real food and delivers it right to your door. Recipes are developed by vet nutritionists, made from real meat and veggies, and proportioned just for your dog, making it easy to say goodbye to burnt brown balls. Feed your dog real food with real benefits. My Pomeranian Teddy loved the stuff, and his coat has never looked better. It's smart, healthy pet food you can feel good about feeding your pup. And it's the best option for your dog of all life stages because it's not kibble, it's not canned goo, it's real healthy food. And it doesn't matter if your dog is young or old, it's always the right time to begin investing in their health. That means more happy, healthy, full years together. Get 50% off your first box of fresh, healthy food from farmersdog.com/Shay Shay. Plus, you get free shipping. Just go to farmersdog.com/Shay Shay to get 50% off. That's farmersdog.com/Shay Shay. Ms.Pat, your mom outwardly was a very tough woman. She let off her round, she would curse, she would yell and scream. But inside, you can tell she was a broken woman, that she was
broken.
Weak.
My daddy did to her what she allowed my kid's father to do to me. My daddy was very abusive. And my mom was so beat down. She only had 4 teeth. I used to think my mom was old. My mama died when she was 39 years old.
What?
39 years old. She had 4 teeth in her mouth.
He knocked them out?
I don't know who knocked them out. All I know is her fake teeth was in the refrigerator wrapped in a Kroger sack. And she put them in every now and then. That's all I know. I never asked her. I think she told us that my daddy knocked her teeth out. But she was so beat down. And when my kid's father was beating me down like that, and I was like, no, you ain't about to Mildred me. You ain't about to Mildred me.
That was your mom?
Yeah, that was my mom now. And I started to fight back. And I remember my kid's father said, I'm going to knock your teeth out of my mouth. And all I could see is my mom with them 2 little 4 teeth at the top of her mouth, and they had cavity. I was like, you not about to have me walking around looking like that. Now, I don't mind my side teeth missing. Yeah. But you ain't about to knock out my front teeth.
Because everybody see the front, you got to talk straight.
Yeah, I can easily disguise my jaws. I just I don't smile too big. But my mom was so broken, so beat down. And I just said, a man would never in his life treat me like that again.
Did you have a relationship with your father?
My real father came along when I was about 12 or 13. And shows up, slapped me, and tell me.
Slapped you?
Yeah, and I beat his ass too. Me and my brother beat his ass. That's how he introduced himself, with a slap. And you don't be
damn.
Well, I didn't know him. And he hit me, so I hit him back. And me and my brother beat him up, and he told us he was his daddy. But later on, I'm a forgiving person. I don't hold grudges. And my daddy had multiple myeloma, and I got to know him, and I took him to Indiana with me, and that's where he passed away at. And I never forget when he was dying, Shannon, because I'm the baby.
Right.
And he was so proud of me. The only time he ever really seen me on TV is when I was on Judge Joe Brown suing somebody for damaging my house.
Okay.
And so when he was he wanted to see this, but I know he wanted to see this, but he died. Make a long story short, when he was dying, he looked up at me, and at this time he couldn't talk, and he just said, "Thank you." And I said, "You don't owe me nothing." And I know he was saying, "I never did nothing for you. But you came back and you took care of the man that did not take care of you." I picked my daddy up from Grady Memorial Hospital. Grady Memorial Hospital put my daddy out with no health care. Cut his leg off wrong and pushed him to the car, put him in the car. I put him on a pamper and drove him from Atlanta, Georgia to Indianapolis. I pulled up at the CVS right over there in Riverdale and did not have no money. I wasn't making no money at the time. And I said, he needed his diabetic medication. And the man was like, it was a couple $100. I said, "Sir, I don't have it." I bust out crying. And the pharmacist looked at me and said, don't cry. I said, I'm taking my daddy home to Indiana. He said, I'm going to fill my prescription, and that should be enough for you to get him back on Medicaid, Medicare, so you can get him a prescription. He gave me his 30-day supply. I drove my daddy all the way from Atlanta, Georgia to Indianapolis in my Trailblazer, pulled over several times and changed his pamper in the back of the car. And he stayed with me for about 5 or 6 years. And this is when my career took off. I get a call.
Favor.
Huh?
God favor for what you did.
You know, I told my daddy, he said, I know what your mama done told you. I said, stop. We can start over. I said, I don't know. I don't go by what people say about people. Let me get to know you. And I got to know him. And I got a chance to love him, to feel what a father love was. I already had that stepfather, but you know, that was my stepdaddy.
Right.
He stood in for a long time, and then my real daddy came along, and I got to feel the love that my real daddy had for me. And when he passed away, I had just got a call. My daddy passed, I don't know if this is the exact day, on a Monday. That Wednesday, I got a call to come go on tour with Katt Williams. And I told my husband, I said, you ain't gonna believe this. He said, what? I said, they told me I'm going on tour with Katt Williams. I don't even know what's the first city was. I get to the city, we all in a room like this, and Katt come in, and I'm excited. I don't want to show my excitement because I don't really know Katt Williams. And he introduced himself, and we talking, and he overhear me on the phone. And I'm trying to get my brothers and sisters that my daddy just died. He said, what you doing? I said, my daddy died. He said, your daddy died? I said, yeah, he died Monday. I said, I'm just trying to, do his funeral. Do you mind? And he said, no, I don't mind. He went behind the door and came back with a stack of money. And I said, what is this? He said, go bury your daddy and come back. And I was blown away. It was a couple $1,000s. My daddy had spent his insurance money right before he died. He literally cashed in his insurance pot. I could have kicked his ass. Because you know you got cancer and you die, you gonna cash in your damn life insurance pot. I almost put him in a potato sack. He better be thanking Katt Williams because he was about to be potatoes.
Let me get this straight. Your father died.
Yes.
Monday. You get the call, you're going on tour with Katt. Mm-hmm. You've never met Katt before. You don't know Katt. You know who he is, but you don't know him like that. You introduce yourself. He walks up to you, and you're on the phone, and you're talking to your siblings about, okay, Dad just died, and we need to make arrangements to put him away. Mm-hmm. He overhears the conversation. He leaves, comes back, and hands you money.
A lot of money.
Saying, now go bury your dad and come back.
Yes, I did a show that Friday. That week, I flew home, buried my daddy, and came back. And I tried to pay it back. He said, you don't owe me nothing.
So Katt, this has been Katt.
Been Katt. I just seen him at the Netflix, the guy who owns Netflix. We went to a party at his house. And I always tell him thank you. Because he didn't have to do that. And in this world, in this game, ain't a lot of people that will do that. Ain't a whole lot of people,
if you do something, they don't want something back in return at some point in time.
Or they gonna tweet about it.
Yes.
Or they gonna tell everybody, oh, I helped you. I hate people who do that. And people only know this story because I tell him.
Right.
But for him to bury my daddy a first day, and he still paid me, Shannon. He still paid me. He didn't take it out of my pay. He still paid me.
Is that what do people get wrong about Katt? Because people, and I've had a comedian on here, Gary Owen said the same thing, that he did him a solid. There have been several people, but there's some out there that don't rock with Katt and don't feel Katt is. What are we missing? I know him on a different level now because after we did the interview, we've been in constant communication. So I know him on a little different level and been in his presence since we did the interview. What are we missing? What do people don't know about Katt that you want people to absolutely understand about Katt Williams?
One of the nicest comics in this game that I ever deal with. I mean, the most caring. One of the most caring. And I don't deal with a lot of people because I'm old. I don't have horrible stories about comedians. Mm-hmm. I just, live my life. But that I will never forget because you just could have told me I'm going to pay you. But no, you paid for my daddy's funeral. And it was a few $1,000s.
Right. And didn't take it out your check.
Didn't take it out of my check.
And if he took it out your check, you'd have understood.
I didn't expect anything. You just told me to go bury my daddy. I was able to buy a casket. I was able to put him in the ground. I was able to get my brother and sisters up there. I was able to do everything.
When he gave you that money, did you think like, Lord have mercy, this man just met me. He don't know me from a can of paint.
I said, no, you don't have to do that. I said, I'm going to be okay. I was trying to work it out. I mean, at the time, my husband was at General Motors, and I knew I was going to get paid from him. And then my husband got pretty good credit. We was talking about taking out a loan, all kind of stuff, right. Trying to get the city to bury him, all kind of stuff. Katt walked in and gave me the money and changed the whole situation.
Wow. Ms.Pat, I read, man, you used to scam people.
Yeah, I used to be a check forger. I was really good at it too.
You just steal a blank check, write the person's name on it, and go take it.
Well, back in the day, my brother, I ain't gonna say, my relative used to be a cat burglar. Your podcast too big for me to be talking about family members. Motherfucker be trying to sue me. I ain't got time for that crap down. But I had a family member that was a professional burglar. So this person used to break in houses, right? And so a lot of times, when you got that street mentality, it stays with you. Yeah. So back in the day, people would get comfortable and throw their checkbooks inside of, the glove department. Well, my brother would steal your car and bring me the checks. And so at first I would give them to a crackhead and say, just go get me this and that. And I said, well, what are you doing? Because I'm curious when it come down to hustling. Yeah. And that crackhead showed me how to make a fake ID and showed me how. I tried out of school and I didn't know how to fill out no damn check. That crackhead took me in practice writing checks and signing the person name. And so the first time I went out to do it was me and another relative, and we ran up in Macy's. And Macy's looking like, well, all these Negroes right here doing, they ain't got no money. My niece got locked the hell up. And so I said, we got to regroup. We did it wrong. So we came up with a plan. Right. All of us black people don't be running up in no Macy's.
I don't need to go there, but one or two.
Yeah, you remember Macy's is riches back in the day. So we gotta go in there one at a time, and we gotta look like. So we can't go in there with no rags on our head. Right. We gotta look like we got a job. So we put a plan together, and that's how it all happened.
How did you get the name Rabbit?
My stepdaddy. He used to tell me, he said, if you eat carrots, your eyes are gonna be pretty. And I believe that shit. So I like raw carrots.
So do anybody call you Rabbit now?
I don't like it.
You don't like it? Okay.
Because let me tell you why. Rabbit holds a lot to my past. Not only that, I'm a grown woman. Don't call me Rabbit. My name is Pat or Patricia. Okay. And my one thing about my kid's father, he would not call me Patricia, because to me, that's how he hold on to the control that he used to have in my life. Right. So he refused to call me Pat.
What would he call you?
He called me Rabbit.
He did?
He still do, and I don't answer. I said, don't call me Rabbit. Even my friends, I had to train my friends not to call me Rabbit.
Because you know, Ms.Pat, down in the South, now you get a nickname, you have to take that thing to the grave.
Yeah, but I'm 52 years old. Don't be calling me Rabbit. I'm too old to be a rabbit. I'm a grown woman. I'm somebody's mama, grandmama, and wife. Don't call. I'm grown, and it holds so much to that name holds so much to where I come from. I just don't want to be called that.
Did you ever ask him, say, why you still call me Rabbit? You know I don't like it.
Well, some of my friends be like, Rabbit. I mean Pat. Like I was talking.
No, I'm talking about your child's father.
He said, I don't know Pat. I know Rabbit, but that's his way of holding on. Right. So every time he hit me through Facebook, I don't fuck with him. Go on back to Jiffy Lube and leave me alone.
Man, what about you bought a Cadillac? You bought a Cadillac, but you needed because you only had a learner's permit.
Yeah, I had a learner's permit. I had several cars at that time.
How you, Ms.Pat, you don't even have a real driver's license.
Well, you could go, I had a friend that used to take us to the auction. Remember the auction? Mm-hmm. Here in Atlanta. So you go down there on Stewart Avenue and you buy as many cars as you want to. Mm-hmm. So I would buy these cars and fix them up. And I had a Fleetwood Cadillac when every drug dealer had one. And I had a learner's license with a crackhead on the passenger seat because he had a driver's license. So I had them in shifts. So when the police pulled me over, they can't search the car because I had a licensed driver in the car with me.
You always had a hustle mentality. You always looking for,
You know what? You know what, Shannon? I wasn't. I used to steal, but I wasn't big on stealing. But when I go in the store, I had to catch myself because that little crazy person in me.
You got money, Ms.Pat, in the back of the mind, like, you know what? You can take this.
I was at Home Goods the other day, and this dude put a $200 rug in my car by mistake. And that crazy person in me was like, take off with that damn rug. And the good person like, don't do that. You got American Express card. So I said, sir, get the rug out my car. That's not my rug. That's not my rug. But that is still in me. That's the hustle in me.
So I want to make sure I get this in. You were shot in the head at 14, got your areola blown off at 15.
Why you have to say areola? That's so uppity.
Nipple?
Nipple.
Okay, you got your nipple.
Yeah.
Was it the same guy?
No, my kid's father shot me in the back of the head. And another guy shot me in my boob.
Well, damn. Hold on. Is it true?
I got shot twice that year. I think I was 15 when I got shot both times.
Damn.
I know. I told God, I said, look here, God, you got to tell him, stop shooting me. and bullets are hot. They burn after.
Did you know he had shot you in the head?
Yeah. He shot me and left me in the house. And I was so young and dumb. I called my friend. I was like, he shot me, girl. Come over here. She get over there and it cracked my skull and I'm bleeding and stuff.
Excuse me. What did he shoot you with? A 22?
38. Yeah, 38.
Small caliber.
Yeah.
But still, people have been killed with 22s and 38s. So.
Yes, they have. Yes, they have. And so I really, Shannon, I'm going to be honest with you. This is how stupid I was. When he shot me, I was like, that's love. Because my mama told me if a man don't beat you, he don't love you.
What?
Yes. So every black eye was a hickey on my neck. Until one day, I watched What's Love Got to Do With It. And I was like, I ain't taking no more ass whooping. And I'll never forget when I first started fighting him back, my cousin Boo was in the back. She's like, hit him back, hit his ass back. You know how your cousin be gripping
you go, yeah.
I'm fighting my kid's father. He hit me right here between my eyes and blacked both my eyes. And she laughed her ass off. I said, why you didn't help me twice? Well, I ain't want none of that ass.
But when your child's father shot you, you said originally it wasn't his fault because you just too slow. You didn't duck fast enough.
Well, you know what? I wanted to make it out of a joke.
Yeah, for sure.
And it was so hard to hear that a woman had been shot and abused. And people said, oh my God. And I was like, how can I make this funny? It's funny to me. Right. And so one day I was on stage and I said, it wasn't his fault. It was my fault. I ducked slow.
Did he walk up behind you? Did he go get the gun?
He came over and I was over with a guy. They got to fighting and stuff. And then he hit me with the gun and the gun went off.
Oh, okay.
And then he ran.
Okay.
He ran.
So you was over there with another guy and he happened to come over.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so I called my friend. And when I called my friend, she came over and I was bleeding. And then we called the ambulance, and I get back of the ambulance just talking. I'm 15, young and dumb, and they looking at me like, bitch, why you ain't dead? Wow. And so they cut all my hair off and make sure my brain didn't swell. And then I got out of the hospital and I went to the Tone Loc concert.
Funky Cole Medina.
Yes, with a whole bullet wound in the back of my head.
Oh, Ms.Pat, you tough. You what? Now, so this... You get shot again. No, you shoot somebody.
I shot him.
Him in the leg.
Yes.
You go to pick him up from the hospital. Mm-hmm. There's another chick there.
His other baby
mama. And
I run him over.
You run him over in the parking lot.
I sure did because I shot you so I can take care of you.
Come on, Ms.Pat.
Yeah. That's how crazy I was. But that's when you think abusive love, and it's not, because we did a lot to each other. Yes. I told a story about him. He skate all the time. He hit me in my head with the stop on the skate. And I don't know if you've ever seen a stop. That thing don't give.
They don't.
And I hit his ass with an iron. I mean, it was always just fighting, black eyes, and shooting at him, and he shooting at me. I'm just thankful that I ain't dead.
How did you finally decide? Enough of this BS. I'm done with this. I'm done with him. I'm moving on because I know there's something bigger and better for Patricia.
I always tell people this is before Ciara, this singer, ever prayed that prayer for her husband, Russell. I prayed to God and I say, Lord, I never forget it. I don't get on my knees for nothing. I mean, no sexual move for nothing. Because it's hard for me to get up. And God know I'm lazy. I'm going to pray on my side.
Right.
I got on my knees and I said, Lord, I'm not asking you to change him. I'm asking you to change me. I said, I don't want to hate him. But the love that I have and the desire that I have for this man, I ask you to remove it. Because it's no longer healthy for me. And I'll never forget that. I said, but I don't want to hate him, Lord. I went to sleep and woke up and did not care nothing about him the next day. And I remember 2 days later, he came over and tried to like have sex with me. Nothing. I met my husband that same week I did that prayer. It was, honestly, that is what I told God. I said, God, I just want you to remove what was keep drawing me to him like cocaine. Take it out of me. And he took it out of me. And I never, ever went back. And people would always say, Rabbit ain't gonna never leave him. Rabbit ain't gonna never leave him. Baby, I woke up one day. I went from being a little girl to a grown woman, and he didn't know how to accept it.
Did he ask, what's wrong with you? Why all of a sudden now you don't want to, we've done this for X amount of years or however long you've done it. What changed?
I told him I didn't love him anymore.
Did y'all get to fighting again?
No, because I ended up with my husband. So at the time I'm forging checks, and I tell my husband to come over to my apartment and watch my kids and stuff. And my husband,
how old are you at this time, if you don't mind me asking that?
17.
Okay.
And so I've got an apartment. It's in my daddy's name. And my husband started to come over. My boyfriend at the time started to come over, and he was not my type. You know, my husband is a bigger guy. My kid's father is really skinny like Dave Chappelle. So I had never really dated a thick guy like that. Mm-hmm. But he was so intelligent. And this is going to sound stupid, but this is when I knew I didn't have a nigga and I had a man. I walked in one day and he was watching Seinfeld. And I said, what the hell are you watching that white show for? He said, this is a really good show. You should sit down and watch it. Oh, watch, baby. I'm a hood chick. Yeah. And he said, sit down and watch it. And I was like, wow, this is funny.
Yes.
Not really my type of funny, but he just started to introduce me to different things. And, you know, I didn't have to worry about being called no, you know, I didn't have to get talked down to. He was opening the doors for me. And most women would take that as being weak. But it was something that I always wanted. Mm-hmm. I'm going to tell you a story about my kid's father. One time we was riding in the car, and my car ran out of gas. Right there off of Bankhead. And we riding down Bankhead, the car run out of gas. And it's raining. So my kid's father used to suck his thumb. And I said, you ain't going to go to the gas station? He said, no. Ain't nobody tell you not getting no gas. I get out the car, Shannon, and I'm walking maybe a mile to the gas station.
You get out the car, walk in the rain to get gas.
Yeah, I get out the car. And walk a mile to the gas station.
That should have ended it for you right there.
I was too stupid. Let me tell you what happened. So I'm walking in the rain, and it ain't rain, it pouring rain.
Yeah.
This older man pulled up next to me and say, young lady, let me take you to the gas station. And I'm kind of scared to get in the car with the older man. Take me to the gas station, pay for the gas. He take me back to my car, and that old man seen my baby daddy sitting in that car, and he went the hell off. He said, you mean to tell me this young punk sitting in the car and got you walking in the rain? You young girls are stupid. My kid's father sitting in the front seat laughing. That started to wake me up. Mm-hmm. So when I met my husband, and he wasn't watching no crap like I was used to with my kid's father, and he's the first man I ever seen with a credit card. He the first man that ever talked to me about finances and credits, and that stuff was just attracted to me. It attracted me to him because I wasn't used to that. I was used to somebody calling me ugly and beating on me, calling me out my yes. And so I was like, I ain't really into this. Ain't really my type, but I'm gonna hold on to this and see where we go.
You say you meet your current husband, you're 17, but if I'm not mistaken, you went to jail at 18.
No, I got out of jail at 17, so I'm about 18.
So
yeah.
So what did you go to jail for?
Crack.
You selling?
Yeah, so I might was 19. So when I met my husband, I probably was 19 because I went to jail at 17. Back then you can go to jail at 17, so I got out at 18. And then I met him, about 19 because he was 21 and I wasn't 21. Oh. Let me get the ages right. It's been 30-some years.
I want to know the exact moment that you knew this is my forever man.
When he told me, when I lived in that apartment and I was getting evicted, because I ain't never like pay no bills. Apartments in my I got evicted all the time. And so I said, take me to my dad's house so he put the apartment back in my name. My husband looked at me, boyfriend at the time, he said, look, I put apartment in my name. And I said, what? And then I said, you gonna move in with me? He said, I said, well, I can't pay the rent. He said, okay. Now, mind you, I had never had sex with this man. He was just coming over all the time, you know, hanging out and stuff like that. This man go and put a whole apartment in his name. A whole apartment. And moved me and my 2 kids into some security. Paid the rent. Paid the bills. And he looked at me and said, I want you to do one thing for me. And I said, what? He said, stop selling crack and stop forging checks. And I gave my niece my last little bit of crack and I threw away the checks. And that was hard because that was so hard, Shannon.
That was some easy money, huh, Ms.Pat?
I had to go and work at McDonald's for $4.25 an hour. But then I'm a hustler, so now I'm stealing out the register, but I ain't really telling him. Because he was just so cut, dry, honest. And right. I'm like, you know, what back in the day and what women would consider now to be lame, right? Because that's the word we use. Right. And I'm like, my husband lame as hell. You know, he ain't breaking no laws. He ain't got no speeding ticket. He ain't doing nothing. And so I'm like, I can't just come up here and work every day for no $4.25. I got 2 kids at the house. Right. And then we had just got custody. We had just got my sister's kids, so I got 6 kids. Yeah. I got to get this money. So I was up there tearing McDonald's a new ass every day. Ooh, baby. And I just came out of the drug game, so I can count real fast with money. I can count backwards. Right. They didn't change. I can count. So, baby, that's what I did.
They coming up show every night.
No, they didn't, because you promo it. There was a way on that register that you can get away around it. Okay. Yeah. Or you took the money and slip it up on, you took the chain and slip it up on the register. So when you ring it up, you just clear it out and you get the people their money back. Because back then, people weren't using a lot of credit cards.
Right. They were using cash.
They were using a lot of cash. and that's what I did. And you know, to me, I had to get 2 jobs and it still didn't make up for the money that I was making in the streets. Mm-hmm. But I did it because I had a stable place for my kids to stay. I had somebody in my life that cared about me. And I didn't want to blow it, you know, trying to hustle in the streets. Because he had took me forging checks and selling dope as long as he could. Because the man ain't never been to jail. Right. And he told me one day, he said, hey, these ain't my kids. What happened when you go to jail? They gonna give your kids back to that man. And so he just started to make me realize, you know, Pat, you can make it without doing all of this.
How did he know you were selling crack and forging checks? Did you tell him or did he saw you? See you?
I knew his brother. Okay. I knew his brother. So his brother knew I was selling crack and forging checks and I was a hustler.
Right. But he didn't try to change you. He didn't beat you down. He didn't say, look, if you don't do X, Y, and Z, I'm up out of here. He said, look, I'm gonna get you this place. I'm gonna put my name on the lease. All I ask you to do is stop selling crack and start forging these checks.
Yep, that's what he
asked. You knew that was, so then now you're like, why you doing all this? You want me to be your girl? What's your angle here?
Well, we was living together. So, you know, we was actually living together. So I knew he wanted me to be his girl. Right. And I just said, you know, I would talk on the phone with my girlfriends and stuff, and I knew I had something different. Mm-hmm. I knew it was nothing like seeing a black man go to work and come home and treat you the way you're supposed to be treated. You know, saying nice things to you. I mean, he brought me back to life when so many people before him had killed me on the inside. Mm. You know, he fed me positive things. When I was down and low, you know, he would talk me out of it. There was one time in my whole life I ever thought about committing suicide because I check my criminal background history. I went to school for medical assistant, and I checked my criminal background history, and they just they wouldn't give me no job because I had too many felons on my record, and they was like, no, and I was like, well, what am I living for? What am I living for if I can't get a decent paying job other than a fast food restaurant to feed my family or to help you out? He was like, Pat, it's more to you than that. And I just started to dig inside of myself and to find out who I really was. But it was all the help of him. I mean, that man picked me up when I was at my lowest. My husband went to the military. You know, my husband graduated high school. He ain't never threw up in my face, bitch, baby, you got an 8th grade education. You know, I've always felt safe with him. I'd be like, how you spell can? C-A-N, and keep it moving. Right. Damn, you can't spell can? He ain't never, not one time have he ever said that.
The Emirates NBA Cup is here. You can win big getting in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. All 30 teams split into 6 groups every Tuesday and Friday, playing for the right to advance into a single elimination in-season tournament, culminating in the NBA Cup Championship in Las Vegas. First time, here's something special for you. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Score big with DraftKings Sportsbook. Every point counts. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use code MONEYMOVES. That's code MONEYMOVE for new customers to get $150 in bonus bet if your bet wins when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. After everything that you've been through, did you get therapy? How did you get past all this trauma that had befallen you in your life? You're 19, and I'm hearing this, and the listening audience, the viewing audience is going to hear this. Think about what you have gone through, and you're still a teenager.
I never got counseling. I think comedy was my counseling. Honestly, that's where I started to tell the stories of growing up in the bootleg house, being molested, being shot. The comedy audience healed me. And when I got the Ms.Pat show, and my co-creator, this boy just crazy, Jordan E. Coop, he just started to dig in my life and tell these stories. And it's so many times I've cried on that set. But there's so many times season 1, my kid's father, I finally get to tell him off how I feel. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's acting, but still, Jordan knew how important that was to me. And I remember getting in that car, leaving that set on Boat Rock Road here in Atlanta, and I boo-hooed because that was a door that I had closed that needed to be open, and my co-creator and my cast helped me open it, and I cried so hard because all I ever wanted to do was tell him what he did to me and how I really felt, and I got to do it through acting. And even with my mom, you know, we did an episode on my mom on the show, and I was able to, you know, my mom used to call me nappy head, ugly, and stuff like that. And I was able to do an episode, and that was another time I rolled home crying. So through comedy and through the Ms.Pat show, do I need counseling? I probably do. Let my kids tell it. Yes, I do. I still got some stuff that I need to work out.
You let go of.
Am I a perfect mom? No, I'm not. And one thing I always tell my oldest daughter, who's 38, I think, 36 or 38, I always tell her, I said, you got to understand that I was 14. I made a lot of mistakes with you and your brother. But one of the things I want you to always know is that I loved y'all. And I did the best that I could do. I never gave you up. You never was molested. Because when I had my daughter on August 9, 1986, I said in that bed holding her, I said, they would never do to you what was done to me. And when my daughter went out to college, and she's called me, she said, you know what, mama, all my friends been touched. And I feel bad because I'm the only one that ain't got no molestation story. And I knew I had done my duties. Mm. Now, did I know she was going to be down at college eating all the women? No, She gay as hell. She gay as hell. She gay as hell, baby. If she don't eat you, you won't be ate.
Ms.Pat, do you remember much about your grandmother?
No. No.
Because I wonder, because your mom was this way, and you said part of you, like you had to break a curse because you saw the way your mom was, and it'd be interesting to know what type of mom your mom had.
I think everybody was uneducated. So I think my daughter was the first one to graduate high school in 3 generations. First one to go to college that I can think of, that I know of. So, no, my grandmama died. She was an alcoholic. She got poisoned with corn liquor or some type of moonshine. So I don't know much about her. I just know my granddaddy.
You said that was one of your proudest moments when your daughter graduated high school.
It was.
Because you dropped out, your mom dropped out, probably your grandmother probably didn't go to finish high school either. What was that moment like when your daughter's like, you see your daughter walking across that stage with a high school diploma?
I cried. And you know what? Let's back up before you get to the high school prom. So I never got a chance to go to prom or anything like that because I dropped out.
Right.
And so I have 4 kids, and every one of them went to prom for me. I picked the outfit. I picked, I went all out. I mean, I told them what I wanted them to wear. I picked a car. I didn't pick their date. My daughter went with a bunch of girls. I should have known she would get in.
That should have been your clue, huh?
My other daughter went with her best friend, and my sons went with 2 young ladies, and they allowed me to pick their dates and stuff like that. So I got to live that through them. And when they all graduated, and I just said, I did something. And when my daughter Garyana, she has 2 degrees, and so I'm proud of them. They're not convicted felons like me. They're not high school dropouts. They work and they do the things they supposed to do. So I'm all right. I'm proud of them.
You did more than all right.
Yeah, they didn't turn it to no Shannon Sharpe. My fat ass son could have played football, but I'm not that parent that gonna stick around. When you ain't good at something, bring your ass on now. My son played basketball one time. He was so horrible, Shannon. His shoe kept falling off his feet. I said, "Boy, get them damn shoes. I'm going home and watch Young and the Restless." I said, "We quit. You're horrible." He said, "What you mean?" I said, "Baby, you're only good at football. Go out there and let them hit you upside your damn head, because that's what you're good at. You like to eat."
Ms.Pat, what advice would you give? Because you'd be great with a TED Talk. You'd be great talking to young women that are possibly going through something or have gone through something very similar to what you've gone through. What would be some of the advice that you would like to share? Have you shared? Obviously you've shared your story
many times,
but have you thought about, like, if I get an opportunity to stand up in front of a group of women, 1,000 women, and share my story with them? Maybe they've gone through something similar and don't know how to move on. Or maybe there's somebody that's going through something right now that I can help them with. What would you tell them, Ms.Pat?
Learn how to love yourself. The problem with me was I realized I didn't love myself. I was too busy loving everybody else, and nobody was loving me. So that's one of the things I always tell people. I said, when you do so much for other people, then you're taking away from yourself. You gotta make yourself first. When I learned how to love myself, that's why I was able to find a man that know how to love me. When I was loving on my kid's father, I was just loving on him. He wasn't loving on me.
He didn't return that. He didn't reciprocate that.
No, reciprocate, whatever that word you want to use. Since you want to use these fancy ass words.
He wasn't giving back to you.
I know what reciprocate means. I used to steal calls. I love an educated man. But yeah, he didn't give it. Learn how to love yourself. Put yourself first. And even as a mom or wife, we still have the tendency of putting everybody else before. Yeah. Sometimes you got to pull your wig off and shut that door and say, everybody outside this door right here gonna go to hell today, because it's all about me. You got to learn how to love yourself. Right.
When you first got into comedy, Ms.Pat, did you change, or was your accent? Did you change anything about the way you talk?
Nah. I changed my act. I did what everybody else do, a whole bunch of old sex stuff, and then I started to tell these stories about life off stage, and people's like, you should really, look into telling these stories. And my neighbors and everybody kept telling me, you got crazy stories like Richard Pryor. I didn't really know who Richard Pryor. I didn't even know Richard Pryor was a comedian. So I started to look into Richard Pryor and buy his old CD. And I was like, you get all that money for telling your business? You know, because we grew up a lot alike. He grew up in a brothel. I grew up in a bootleg house.
Right.
You know, he saw hoes. I saw hoes. That was nothing. You know, I've told that story about helping my special need uncle have sex all the time. That's what me and my sister had to do, was hold his legs back because he was crippled. So he was crippled, and so he would have seizures. I've told this story many times, and my granddaddy thought if my uncle bust a nut, it would calm down the amount of seizures that he would have.
Right.
So me and my sister would have to go back there and pull his leg back because he was crippled, and he was special needs too.
Right.
You know, back then we said he was retarded.
Yeah.
So we pull his leg back, he get it started, and my granddad give us 50 cents to go play Pac-Man. But you know what? Back in those days, it was normal. Go get Cecil naked and get him ready for the hoe. He just be smiling because he really couldn't tell. Like, stop smiling all the time.
He know what about to happen. That's what you supposed to do.
The more he smiled, the longer it got. I'm going to tell you, the first time I ever saw one outside of Uncle Cecil, I was like, that thing don't look like Uncle Cecil. Not knowing I wasn't supposed to be looking at Uncle Cecil.
When did you decide? Say, you know what? I think I can do stand up. I think I'm funny. Cause I know you dropped out in like the 8th grade, but were you funny as a child? Were you a comedian? Were you class clown? Were you in school?
Yeah, I had a Joan all the time. We call it Joan.
Joning.
Yeah, we had a Joan all the time because I was a musty kid. So what my mama would give us everything was monthly. She would buy the Tootsie. We could only get one swipe. So it was just enough for one arm.
Yeah.
So you knew not to use that other arm the whole day to keep it from sweating. So I was right-handed. So I would always put the deodorant up under my right arm because that's my most active arm.
Right.
So I would have to get people off of me, because we were hand-me-down. My brother stole from the Goodwill, and we were just poor as hell.
Right.
So I would have to learn. My mouth became a piece.
Right. Y'all gonna get up off me.
Yeah, you gonna get up off me. And I used to fight a lot too. Like,
You fight the girls for making fun of you?
Shit, I fought all the time at English Avenue Elementary. You better ask somebody. Cause you know what? So when I was coming up, they used to give those boxes to poor kids. Remember the Thanksgiving and Christmas box? I hate those boxes. And it was 5 of us. All 5 of us was get the boxes. And my mom was so lazy, Shannon, she wouldn't even come up to the school knowing we got that 30-pound goddamn turkey. Gotta walk him down the street.
You gotta walk all the way home.
Yeah, and he unthrowing on my side. You got him on your shoulder like a pocketbook. Canned goods, so everybody be picking that up. Canned goods falling because the box wet. And so I had to fight all the time because we were so damn poor.
So you do it like, you know what? I'm gonna try this. So do you remember the moment that you said, I'm gonna give stand up a try?
Yes.
And do you remember your first set?
Yeah. So, like I said, everybody said I had stories like Richard Pryor. I go to this caseworker and I'm trying to make her give me more. I'm trying to make her feel sorry for me. So the first story I tell her, my granddaddy hanging us. So my granddaddy hung us one time for stealing my aunt food stamps. And it wasn't no no killer hanging.
Right.
It was like 5 seconds. He put the rope around the neck, moved it, and said, who got the food stamps? I told on him. My caseworker laughed her ass off. She said, you ever thought about being a comedian? And I said, mm-mm. She said, you are funny. So she would block off she was my welfare to work program caseworker. She would block off 2-3 hours just talking to me. Let me tell her story. She be in there with tears coming out of her eyes. And I'm like, she was like, you should really try stand up.
Are you gonna give me an extra $65 book of food stamps? Or you just waste my time?
She gave me a lot of stuff, and she kept encouraging me. And I got on stage, and I came home one night with my wig smelling like cigarette. And I told my husband, I said, I'm a comedian. He said, take your ass to bed so you can go to Walmart tomorrow. And I said, no, I'm a comedian. And I just kept going out. And
you was hooked. That first time you got on stage and you heard that applause, you heard that laughter, there was no turning back for Ms.Pat.
I know when I get into something, when something is in it for me. And I felt like something was in it for me. Not only the money was there, but the healing process was there too. So I just stuck with it. And I'm going to tell y'all something. When you choose a career that other people don't understand, it can really mess up your relationship. Right. My husband did not understand why I wanted to be a comedian. And it really put some dents in my marriage. You know, I know he wanted to leave. Like I said, I was stealing his credit card, flying out, doing guest spots. You don't get paid for no guest spots.
You do not.
And he couldn't understand. He's like, you're not making no money. I said, I'm telling you, it's something here for me.
Right.
And I stuck with it. And that day Katt Williams called, everything changed.
Wow. Because a lot of times they can't see, like, everybody wants the instant gratification. Okay, right now, Ms.Pat, you on stage, you doing this, X, Y, and Z. But it was going to be down the road, and they can't see what you see because it wasn't their vision. That's your vision.
When I moved from Atlanta to Indianapolis with my husband's job, General Motors, and I was determined to get out of Indianapolis. I hated it.
Right.
I could not live. I lived in Plainfield, Indiana, in front of the prison that Mike Tyson did all his time at.
Okay.
And that was the first thing they told me. Mike Tyson did it. I don't give a damn about no black man going to jail. I know a lot of black men in jail. And I just knew that
They got a federal prison right there on Moreland.
Thank you. And I'm like, I can't stay here.
Right.
And I told my husband, I said, just stick with me. I said, I'm going to retire you. And my husband's like, girl, I got a pension. You can't retire. I said, I'm going to retire you. Shannon, my husband at the house right now. He ain't worked in 2.5 years.
Wow.
3 years. I looked at him and I said, it's time to leave General Motors.
Right.
We don't need it no more. My husband bust his ass for over 24 years, taking care of me and them kids. That was days he had to drag himself in the house from making them transmission in them cars. But now he just go and get the leaves out the pool. He do white man stuff. And every time I look on our security camera and I see him, I say, I told his ass. And I asked him the other day, I said, are you happy? He said, if only you knew.
Ms.Pat, you're very comfortable on stage. You mentioned earlier that your daughter is gay.
Yes,
and
she is.
You say you're very comfortable. You're very comfortable on stage talking about it. Did you know, or did she come to you and tell you?
Oh, I shouldn't be eating ice. Damn, I'm on camera. I'm sorry.
No, you good.
I kind of knew. What happened? I didn't know my daughter was gay. Till I bought her some Elin Harris book. I was listening to V103 one day, and they was talking about Elin Harris, Frank Ski, and that was a author. Get these books; they're good. And so my daughter is a reader. Like, that's all she do is read. So I said, I'm gonna get my daughter these books. I didn't know they was a down low book because I don't read. I done bought my daughter all these down low books. And she just reading them shit. I said, what the hell is in these books? Reading them while she at school, reading them while she doing that. I said, what the hell is in these books? I pick it up, and she on a thing about undercover gay dude. I said, who the hell bought you these books? She was like, you. I said, I bought you this shit. And so I tell my husband, I said, I think she might be kind of suspect. And so when she went to college, and she didn't come back home, and then she started to run because I went to jail, and I hated gay women. I hated gay women. I could deal with a gay man. I could not deal with a gay woman. And my daughter knew how I felt because of the mean things I would say around the house. And my daughter disappeared for 3 years. And I called her. I hit her up on Facebook one day, and I said, where are you? She was in Virginia. I said, call me. She called me, and I said, Ashley, are you gay? Now, I already kind of figured about then. I just want to hear it out of my mouth. She said, yes, ma'am, I'm gay. I said, so you sleep with women, you eat pussy.
Could you be a little more subtle with it?
No, I had to get right to the point. She said, yes, ma'am, I do. I said, all right. Well, come on back to Atlanta. That's all they do down here. I said, you going to fit right in at home. And it was hard. It was hard because I was raised a certain way.
No.
And my daughter looked just like me, Shannon, just like me. And there was time I see on Facebook, and I call them, and I would tell her, get my face off them. I mean, she like them hard chicks like you. She like a chick that look like you. They have on pants, but they be looking like you. So I had to learn to, I love my child.
Yes.
So I had to learn, I guess I wanted to, I guess I used to always joke about, I say, I always wanted to teach how to suck dick, but we ain't gonna never have that in common. She say, well, mama, I do it on my dildos. Right. And so I'm like, well, I ain't gonna do it on your dildo. But, you gay, I love you, and just come home. And I love my child. And it opened my eyes. Cause I tell people all the time, what you don't like, a lot of time God will put that in your life to make you understand what do you hate. Why are we judging people by their sexuality? My daughter is in a great relationship.
Yes.
She found somebody to love her. My daughter ain't never been beat on like me, mistreated like me. And she happy. And I'm glad she happy.
Isn't that what we want for our kids?
That's all I want for my daughter. Now, I'll tell you when she come over there sometime, because she's so nasty, I make her use plastic. But other than that, baby, she talk about vagina like chicken dressing. So, but I love her, and I'm happy that she's okay with who she are. And as a family, we support that.
You told a story, told a joke one time, like, your daughter's a lot like you because, you know, the only difference is I dated lazy men, she liked lazy women.
She, in the beginning, she loved them lazy. And I used to say, Ashley, just go over there and get your lazy man. They usually can't read and they have really big packages. You will enjoy. A lazy man will rock your world. They make you sound like your tape. I'm not calling you lazy, but I'm just saying it gave me flashback that day when I heard it on Instagram.
You follow me?
Yeah, I follow you.
Block you.
Don't block me. You learn how to work your damn phone. I didn't record that. You recorded that. First, I thought that was AI. I said, damn, AI is killing it. When you came clean that day, I was like, whoa, Shannon.
Lord have mercy. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to live this down, Emma.
I don't think you are, Shannon.
I don't think
I don't think you are. You know, as a woman, we appreciated that tape. We did. Then you appreciate it, ma'am. Don't you say that. You probably was the victim. I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
Had the situation had been reversed, let's just say your daughter's situation, do you think your mom would have been accepted?
No, that's all we heard was ugly stuff, sissy, the F word. We heard all those words coming up.
Right.
If you was gay, it was something wrong with you. No, my mama wouldn't have accepted that.
How have you been able, because you have broken a lot of the curses that your family were stuck with. You've become more accepting. You've been free. You've been more kind. You've been more receptive to things. How have you been able to do that?
I love my child. And I'm not gonna disown my child for sexuality. I mean, you see people stick by their kids when they know they done murder 9 people.
Yes.
All my daughter's doing is liquor. Why can't I stick by her?
I agree.
My daughter is happy.
At the end of the day.
At the end of the day, and you know what's so crazy, Shannon? By me being I call myself a gay parent. And so many gay people come out to my show, and they don't have a parent like me who's understanding. I've just a couple weeks ago, this girl was like, I'm so glad you talked about how much you love your gay daughter. My dad is in the audience. He having a hard time accepting my brother. Or my mom is having a hard time accepting my sister. Why? When that person is happy. At the end of the day, we all want to be happy. I mean, they always talk about the Bible. You know, everything in the Bible to me ain't real. And then if it is real, let me and God deal with that.
Right.
Because your ass got to deal with some things with God yourself.
Where they cherry pick parts of the Bible. There are certain parts they adhere to, and then other parts they just totally disregard.
Thank you. So don't cherry pick me, or don't cherry pick my daughter.
Right.
Let my daughter be happy. And I tell people all the time. They was like, Ms.Pat, how do I tell my mama? My mama want to accept me being gay. I had a young boy come to my inbox one day. She want to accept me being gay. I said, you tell your mama you stop sucking dick when she stopped sucking dick. I'm sorry, you probably ain't had nobody cuss on their podcast that much, but you can bleep it. But yeah, don't come for me with my gay child.
Right.
And people like, oh, it's so holy. Half of the crap you do in your life is unholy, and who knows what's unholy? I had somebody tell me one time, we gonna pray the gayness out of Ashley. How the hell we gonna pray the gayness out of Ashley? I'm up here praying for Ashley. I can forget to pray for myself, and I go to hell and Ashley go to heaven. I'm not gonna be trying to pray no gayness out of Ashley. I got my own things I be doing. All the times I forged these white people credit cards and stole them checks, I'm still praying for that. So mind your business. That's the problem with this world. We won't mind our. We too busy
in
trying to make
everybody else's business. Yes.
We too busy trying to make everybody do what we want them to do.
Or try to make people think that we're perfect.
And you're not perfect.
You're not.
You're not perfect.
Because everybody, if you look at everybody on the internet, they got nice cars, they got nice homes, they're making tons of money, they on vacation.
They're lying. Like, did you see the boy who got, the girl set him up and he got a Rolex in the pool and the Rolex was, set him up and the Rolex was fake? Y'all better stop flexing. I mean, I come from an era where you didn't show off your stuff because you were too scared somebody was gonna come take your stuff. All they do is floss. That's all. And you know what, Shannon? When I built my house, I did show my house. Certain parts of it. It's only because I wanted HGTV to give me a TV show. They ain't gave me no TV show, so I stopped showing it. That's the only reason.
Right.
But I'm not gonna take you through my closet and show you the designer bags. I'm not gonna open up my bank account and show you anything.
Right.
But those are people that they ain't got nothing and that need to show you that they got something. Because I always say rich people ain't never gonna really be flashy. It's us poor people that's gonna come out here and show you everything they got. I ain't gonna show you nothing. I ain't gonna show you nothing. I sure ain't gonna get no stack of money and put it upside my head. Then you break in the house and it's all ones. You done shot my whole family and shoot my little dog I just got from Walmart named Lulu. I just bought me an Osadoodle from Walmart. You ain't gonna shoot my dog over no $800 worth of ones out here flexing. Cause I'm 52, that's what we say, flexing.
Yeah. There is.
But those are people that need to prove something. I don't need to prove nothing.
Ms.Pat, let me ask you this. For your audience, if you got do you change your set for a white audience as opposed to
Hell
a black?
No.
Your comedy is your comedy.
My comedy is my comedy. I said the N-word. I do me. I'm not going to switch it up for you. I'm not going to make you feel comfortable. I'm telling my story. Why should I allow you to buy a ticket and come and tell me what you want to hear? You came to see me. I didn't come to see you. You have a lot of black comedians that can't perform in front of white people. My audience is pretty diverse. I got a lot of Trump supporters.
Right.
They were weighing my ass out yesterday. I posted that stuff. Oh, black woman, all this. They were weighing me out.
Right.
And I tell them it's about respect. You're going to have to respect that I'm a diehard Democrat.
Right.
And I believe in what I believe. And I'm going to respect you. I don't have a problem with you. The way you vote. That's what's great about this country.
Yes.
But I'm not going to argue with you.
Right.
I cry with you. I pray with you. I fight you. But I ain't going to argue with you.
Right.
And you're going to respect me.
That's it.
And that's it.
Yeah. You vote whoever won day. The people spoke.
Now, I tell a story about I have a Trump supporter that's does my gutters, right? And show up at my house, he got a Trump hat on. The man had a good deal, and he did a damn good job.
Yeah.
I done sent him over all my black friends' house. Because at the end of the day, you know, that's his job.
Yes.
And he gave me a service.
Yeah.
I try to see both sides of everything.
Likewise.
And I got friends that, oh, no. No, people vote for all kind of reasons.
Right.
Taxes, you know,
Yeah.
some of them racism, some of them this, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, if honestly, sometimes my kids be telling me I'm a Republican. I need to vote over there sometime for the tax break. It about to be some nice tax breaks. I called my accountant and I said, hey, the tax king just got elected. What you think can happen?
Well, the market went crazy this morning. We'll see how long it runs. I heard you, Joe Rogan. Joe is a comedian, does a great job with the UFC, and the digital space, he's the king.
He is.
You're good friends with him. So what's Joe like? Because you know him behind the camera, not in front of the camera.
Joe a nice person. Joe, you know, I hear a lot of things about Joe. People say he's racist, and I said, no, that's not the Joe I know. He's nice. If I ever need something, I can pick up the phone and call him. Hey, Joe, I can be honest with you. I can ask Joe to tweet out a show or help me with a show before I can ask a black comedian. And that's bad to say. When the pandemic hit, two people called me and asked me, was I going to make it through the pandemic? And one of them was Joe Rogan. Wow. And I said, huh? I said, no, I'm going to be okay. He said, you good? You good? And the other one was Bert Kreischer. I said, no, I'm going to be okay. I'm good. Not one black comedian called me and asked me, are you going to be okay? You going to make it through the pandemic? I don't even think we checked on each other like that. No, we didn't. I mean, you know, Joe.
Because a lot of times, Ms.Pat, when we call one another, we automatically assume, oh, you trying to find out something, you fishing.
Yeah, sometimes.
You fishing. You ain't called to sincerely check on me. You just try to, yeah, I know Ms.Pat ain't doing good. I don't know.
Yeah, but that ain't how I took it from them. I mean,
no, I'm not. No. I'm saying when we do that.
Yes. You gonna make it through this? I went downstairs in my basement and started painting my house in Indiana. The whole time the pandemic went on, I remodeled the house.
Right.
I mean, but you know, and my daughter get on me all the time because she just see things one way. I see things down the middle. Like when people be talking that crap about Joe Rogan, that ain't the Joe Rogan I know.
Right.
He's a friend. He cares. If I call him, he'll pick up the phone. If he can help me, he will help me. And I mean, there were times I asked certain comedians to tweet out my show, and they wouldn't even do it. I asked Joe to do it, and no problem, Pat, just send it to me.
Wow.
That's because, you know, we too busy thinking there's not enough space for all of us.
It happens all the time.
And it is. If I can help you, I'm going to help you. Mm-hmm. I want to see everybody on top.
It happened to me because I have a cognac. This is my cognac, Shea by Laportier. Laportier is poured.
You want to give me a few bottles for my party?
Yeah.
Okay.
I will. No problem.
Y'all heard that?
Yeah, no problem. And I send it to a lot of my friends. Now, when they send me things, T-shirts or product, I post it. I said, my product, not one.
Not one.
Not one.
And I don't know why we like that. I don't.
Because sometimes we feel that if we get something, they lose something. Mm-hmm. Instead of, okay, well, he got it. Like, if somebody moves, like, I don't look at somebody, like I live in a neighborhood, nice neighborhood. If somebody black, oh, what they doing over here? I don't look at it like that. I'm like, man, oh, okay. Somebody else got some money, making enough money that can live here. Mm-hmm. I don't look at it, or what they doing here. The same thing you do. It's a nice neighborhood, a nice school district. We well off. I don't know why we're like that, Miss Pat. I really don't.
Probably all the way date back to slavery.
Probably
that one Negro that meaning, that made
you
it
in the house, you in the fields. Mm-hmm. I'm better than you.
I'm better than you. I'm light skinned. You dark skinned.
Yeah.
It's every time we have a black baby, until we break those curses, those things are still going to be spilled into our community. You know, I've had people where they have on something and they be like, "Don't you ever tell nobody where you get your stuff from." Well, then how's that company gonna make money? I don't care if you got on what I got on.
Right.
I don't care if we buy and do the same thing. I just want to be happy at the end of the day. But they say we crabs in the barrel.
Sometimes to an extent we are.
Yeah, we are. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm going to post your alcohol. You know, it was crazy because when Deion Cole, I saw you interview him.
Yeah.
Deion Cole's show was so good to me. Oh, and his show came out during the pandemic. Mm-hmm. Baby, I went and grabbed his show and I just kept posting. Y'all go watch this show. Y'all go watch this show. And Deion Cole's like, man, you a real one. Nobody asked me to do that. But I did it because it was a good show. And it was on the same network, BET Plus, with me. And I wanted it to make it. And it came out at a time where we was just coming out of the pandemic and you really couldn't really talk about it. So I just went crazy. And I was like, y'all go watch Deion Cole's show. I would put his show on in a room and just let it run. Because I wanted his show to get a second season. Because it was a good show. The same thing with the other show, DR in Detroit. Nobody asked me to post that. I did it because we look alike and we're on the same network. And I'm there and I want you to stay there with me. And any which way I can. I don't want no part in the show. I just want people to know it's a good show out there. And my show ain't the only good show over there. And Tyler Perry's show ain't the only good show over there. They bringing in other producers and people to develop shows that's also good. That's why I did it. And BET was like, you posting other people's shows? Why not? It's good.
Right.
But that's what I do.
That's what you do. That's why you're so blessed, Miss Pat.
I ain't worried about nothing. I'm happy.
What about joke stealing? Because that seems to be it's kind of like that seems like a big thing for comedians. Like, okay, you can steal the joke, but just give me credit. If you give me credit, come like a song. You know, you can't steal my hook or so forth and so on without giving the person credit or asking the person for a certain amount.
I don't have that problem. I'm too personal. You can't. You gonna say you got shot in the titty? You gonna say you got shot in the back of the head? They gonna automatically know it mean your daughter gay.
Right.
You know, the things I talk about is so personal to me. You know, it's hard to steal a personal joke.
Right.
You know, and so I don't really have that problem. I see jokes stealing all the time, but I don't have that problem because I write from my life. I don't go out and try to develop anything. It happens.
Right.
And then I just go and tell a story about it.
Is it true you used to fight comedians back in the day when you first got started? You fight anybody, Ms.Pat? Lord have mercy, this woman here. I thought you said you had grew out of that.
Oh, I fought. Yes, I used to fight quite a bit. Yes.
You like fighting.
I do. I did. I'm too old for that. I'm going through menopause. I can't be fighting nobody now. Who did you hear that I fought?
I ain't gonna say no name, but I'm saying you fought.
Yes, I did fight them. I sure did.
For what?
Just being disrespectful, you know, having a very big ego. You know, at the time this comedian was blowing up, they're famous now. I love them too. But yeah, I sure did. I went on there and knocked the shit out of them.
They call you fat?
Don't call me fat. Ain't nobody gonna call me fat. No. You can call me a and you might get away with it, but you ain't gonna get away calling me fat. I'm gonna get my fat ass up and knock the hell out of you. Not just being disrespectful while I was on stage and I'm open micing at the time. And I got up and knocked the shit out of both of them. I sure did.
Damn, Ms.Pat. I
was crazy back in the day. Because, you know, I'd say my husband didn't send me out here for y'all to disrespect me. I'm not turning no tricks for, you know, a lot of, some comedians will sleep with male comedians just to get on the road. I'm not doing that.
Right.
I got a husband. Y'all ain't gonna disrespect me. So yeah, I had to fight a couple times.
There's never been a night this big. On Friday, November 15th, Netflix and Most Valuable Promotions bring you the highly anticipated boxing mega event of the year. Jake El Gallo Paul will go toe-to-toe in the ring against Iron Mike Tyson, the baddest man on the planet. When the disruptor challenges a legend, anything can happen. Also that night, a historic rematch between the Bray Bomber, Katie Taylor, and Amanda the Real Deal Serrano. Last time they met in the ring, history was made and a woman's boxing was catapulted to new heights. These are the fights the world's been waiting for. Don't miss these epic showdowns live from AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. Watch Paul versus Tyson Friday, November 15th, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, live on Netflix. You can also follow the road to the fight by watching Countdown Paul Tyson, a 3-part documentary series beginning November 12th, only on Netflix. Ms.Pat Show, you've done almost 40 episodes. You shattered records, even crashed the BET Plus app. I mean, what's it like? You have your own show, Ms.Pat Show. You have a judge show, Ms.Pat Judge. What's it like? Is it even better than you? Even when you lay like when you told your husband at the time before he was your boyfriend, now he's your husband, becoming your husband. I'm gonna have a TV show. Is it even better than you imagine?
You know, sometimes I guess yes, because sometimes I sit on a plane and I think about the things that I've accomplished. The little old girl from the west end of Atlanta with an 8th grade education and been through the things that she's been through, and I started to cry. So, you know, I look back over my life and I look at some of my relatives and I know I could have been in the place they was in. And I don't know what God instilled in me to make me so hungry on the inside to change my circumstance. But he put something in me to say I wasn't gonna live like this. Y'all ain't gonna treat me like this. And you know, when I'm laying in bed and I can see myself on TV, I just smile, you know. And sometimes I try not to take it all in, but I just really smile. You know, it took me 5 years to do Ms.Pat Show because they didn't understand me. A little young guy, Jordan E. Cooper, come along and say, y'all holding her back, let her be herself. You'll get more out of her. And that's how the language became in the show.
Right.
And, you know, I'm just proud of myself. You know, I could have gave up. I could have got on drugs. I could have been around here pointing the finger at so many people that did me wrong. But I kept going. And look at me today. Right. I always say this about my first kid's father. I said, gotta be careful how you treat people. Because what you think is trash, somebody else's treasure. You work at Jiffy Lube, and you love to tell people I'm your baby mama. And I'm so petty. Every year I get renewed, I make sure they put a billboard about his job because he catch the bus. So
So that's his claim to fame.
His claim to fame is I'm his baby mama. But you know what, Shannon? I look at my kids, and especially my first 2 sets of kids, and they know they was there at the crack house. Yeah. I was selling crack one time. We was shooting dice, and these dudes started shooting each other. And my daughter grabbed my son and put him in the stroller, and she ran down the street so fast with him she wouldn't stop. I had to get in the car to go get her. And I remember because I sold drugs across the street from her school, and I said, Ashley, and she said, "You're gonna get us killed. You're gonna get us killed." And my son was in Pampers. And I'm like, I'm not going to get you killed. Them back there, they just shoot. My daughter couldn't understand it.
Right.
You know, I'm supposed to be her protector.
Mm-hmm.
So now I know how proud they are of their mother. Mm-hmm. You know, I see it in their eyes, and when I'm taking them places and I'm doing stuff, and they proud of me. And let me say this. I don't think I ever really had nobody. I never had anybody to look forward to say, I want to make that person proud. But I always strive to make my kids proud of me, especially them first 2, because they was there. They took on so much. My daughter told me stop selling drugs in front of her school, and I was so ignorant. I said, girl, I was here before the school zone police thing was. We got to get you another school. This is my job. And so my daughter been through so much. You know, she saw me get beat. She saw me get shot. And to see her mama where she is today, I know she proud of me. I know she is.
Even after going through all that, did you think this day was possible after all the beatings that you were undertaking, after being shot, after going through this did you ever think this day was possible, Ms.Pat?
No, I didn't. I didn't know. I knew I wasn't going to give up, but I didn't see all of this. I didn't see the TV, the 2 TV shows, the comedy tour, all the things that I've been in and doing. Hell, I didn't even see me sitting here with you. They just asked me on the Breakfast Club, where you going on, Shay Shay? I said, I ain't going on that damn show. I ain't got nobody to talk about. And then I look up the couple weeks you calling me. I'm like, Club Shay Shay?
Yeah.
So, no, I didn't. I didn't. I didn't know. All I wanted to do was make enough money legal and live happy. But when I met my husband, he allowed me to dream. Because I had it in me.
Right.
Just so many people had killed it. He lit that fire and say, okay, you can dream.
How do you feel about people calling you the next Roseanne?
Well, I mean, Roseanne was wonderful. She was iconic. She had a great show.
She did.
I mean, and I opened for Roseanne one time in Vegas.
Did you?
I did a show called Real Funniest Moms. Yeah. And I used to talk to her quite a bit until Trump first term, and she blocked me because I was tweeting all that crazy stuff. Yeah. And she's like, you're not for me. But I like Roseanne. I don't have a problem with that.
But people also try to, I think it's maybe just because of the size, you and Monique. You get a lot, I'm sure you've probably gotten a lot of comparisons to Monique.
I did. But Monique done lost the weight, and I'm still fat. She look good.
You okay with your size? I mean, I'm surprised that, a lot of people have done that Ozempic or Trizepatide.
I tried Ozempic. It gave me gallstones.
Did it?
Yeah. I ain't lose on Ozempic. I mean, nothing. Ozempic ain't for everybody. Nah. So I don't know if
you tried Trizepatide?
What?
Trizepatide.
No, I done tried Wegovy, whole Gobi, yogurt. I done tried everything. So I'm gonna have to try a treadmill for real. You know what? I even had weight loss surgery. I lost 100 pounds. Nobody noticed it, and it just stopped working. So I don't know.
You like to eat?
Hell yeah, I like to eat. What you think? I got air in me? the hell is wrong with you? Asking me dumb questions. He literally looked at my big ass and say, do you like to eat? No. I went by the gas station and put the air pump in my ass today, Shannon. That's how I got blowed up. I'm sorry. Stick a pin in me. I'm gonna be your size.
No, but sometimes people.
He don't date big girls.
Back in the day.
Back in the day. When you needed a collard green dinner.
You worked with Lee Daniels on the Ms.Pat show.
Yes, I
did. And obviously he and Monique has made amends. What's Lee like?
Lee is great. He is great. Lee First, how I got with Lee is I did a Joe Rogan podcast. A fella by the name of John Rattler heard me on the podcast and called me into Imagine at the time. He was a producer, executive producer, and took me over to Lee. And Lee said, okay, we'll develop a show. I went through 2 writers, and Lee found the current writer and created the show. I like Lee. Lee will fight for he fought for that show many times. Right. And let me tell you something. I had 3 deals on that one show, and that usually don't happen in LA. Wow. They dropped it because the writer didn't work out. Then they dropped it again, and Lee went to Fox and said, give me one more chance to develop a show. It's something here. And got me paid off 3 deals. That usually don't happen on the same show.
Correct.
And I got paid 3 times. I was okay. They had already paid me 3 times, Shannon. I was like, shit, I'll take y'all money going back on the road.
Right.
And he found that writer, and he created the Ms.Pat show. Now, I don't think anybody saw that show lasting 5 seasons. Because I sure did not see that show lasting 5 seasons. Mm-hmm. And you know, Hulu shot the pilot and dropped the pilot. And never forget it, dropped it on Valentine's Day. And Lee called me, and I said, well, Lee, I truly believe we'll find a home. And BET Plus called. Never heard of BET Plus at the time, and they gave us the opportunity. And that's when I told my co-creator, I said, you got to learn how to mess with people who mess with you. And I was happy to be at the network because they understood being black in America. Mm-hmm. I didn't have to explain ashy. I didn't have to explain, you know, the black culture because the producers in the room was already black. So they got the show. Yeah. Now, was they probably scared because we were cussing? Hell yeah, but it took off. Mm-hmm. Because it had never been done before.
So what did you learn about negotiating? Because like you said, you had the little thing at Fox, and then Hulu shot the pilot. They weren't interested. They wanted you to change something, right?
Change what?
As far as the language in which you were using. Were you always going to use the language?
No, we wasn't going to always use the language. Mm-hmm. No, they when Hulu picked it up, they took out a few of the good jokes that they didn't understand.
Right.
And I was like, dude, you taking out the best part of the show. But to get the show pick up, we had to allow them to take it out. And so as soon as they dropped it, we put it right back in. Mm. But what I learned you asked me what I learned from negotiate. This is what I tell people about Hollywood. You got to be careful because you will walk in that door and you will get ripped the hell off. The first time I sold a Ms.Pat show with a manager, I don't even think I had an agent. Well, the show got dropped. Guess what, Shannon? I wasn't even executive producer. It wasn't even comedy buy. Right. I didn't get any of those credit. Exactly. I was about to be robbed. I was about to get got. But God said no and stopped the show. Not once, but twice. I got an agent, Kyle, and he was like, you don't even have executive producer. I'm like, what is executive producer? You don't even have story by it. All of these was my story. All of that was my comedy. 90% of that show is me. Mm-hmm. And the first 3 to 4 seasons show enough. They changed all of that. So I'm so glad it did not get picked up when it was going to get picked up. I don't even think it was, I was nothing but an actress on that show. Right. Do you know I wouldn't have made no money?
No.
But they don't tell you these things because they know when you're a comedian, they know when you knew you just want the money. You want to be on TV. Mm-hmm. You got to be careful. You got to do your business first when you get into this. Mm-hmm. The money gonna come, but the money can't come if they stealing from you.
Right. And even you making the money up front, you want the money on the back end, the residuals. Because
yes.
You get the credit for it.
You get the credit for it. Points on the show. Mm-hmm. You gotta act, and this is why I'm so grateful for the dude who found me, John Rattler. He tells me everything. Mm-hmm. And he don't have to. He tells me, and I think I got a pretty honest team. Mm-hmm. Because my agent could have just took whatever Fox gave them. And he said, no, make an executive producer, story by, all of these things. I get 4 or 5 credits off that show. Wow. You gotta be careful when you go out there. Because these people will eat you alive.
Because they know what you don't.
They know what you don't. You got to ask questions. Ask questions to somebody who have already had a show. So when you go in the room and you hear certain things, you know what you're talking about. Right. Because if you don't, if it had the Ms.Pat show went on Fox, the very first writer, man, I would have gotten pimped. Yeah. Until I got that agent and he said, no, y'all would not do this to her.
If Ms.Pat could play in a movie, what would be the perfect role for you?
I always wanted to do a buddy cop movie. Yeah. Like Rush Hour. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can see you and Melissa McCartney doing a movie together.
Yeah. Yeah. I cannot think of her name, the lady from One Day at a Time. You know who I'm talking about? The mom on One Day at a Time. The new one that came back on Netflix.
Okay.
Oh, I can't think of her name. I'm gonna be so mad.
Yeah, because I remember One Day at a Time. That was
Somebody Google it real quick so I can say
that was what's it called? Bonnie Franklin was at One Day at a Time, right?
No, that was the old one. You know, it came back with.
Yeah, with Netflix. But I'm saying that's the one that's.
Yeah. What's her name? The mom.
Rita?
Huh?
Rita?
No, not Rita. The mom. The new one. Justina.
Okay.
I could see myself doing a buddy cop movie with Justina from One Day at a Time.
Okay.
She's so funny to me. So that's one of the things, because women don't really get an opportunity to have a series like, Bad Boys
Right,
and Rush Hour and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. You meeting celebrities now. You're a celebrity yourself. Have you been starstruck by some of the people that you've been able to meet?
Ooh, I just recently met Glorilla. I love that little girl.
Yeah,
I love that little thugged out thing. I love her and Carly B. I met her at the BET Awards. I really wanted to meet her, but I hate to say this because I don't want to sound inappropriate because this person is married. But everybody know I'm a big fan of Ice Cube.
Yeah,
I want to work with Ice Cube so bad, and I be up there just Ice Cube's so cute, but that. I've always dreamed of working with Ice Cube. I'm a big fan of Ice Cube. And everybody, I went on a cruise with my husband. They said, who is a celebrity that your wife liked? My husband said, Denzel Washington. I said, what the hell make you think I would like Denzel Washington? He said, all old women like Denzel Washington. Who the hell is old? Everybody know I like Ice Cube. Right. I've always wanted to work with Ice Cube.
He announced that Friday, the last installment, is going to happen. Would you like to be in the last?
Hell yeah, Ice Cube, please call me. You can keep me away from you, but I would love to be in Friday. I love Ice Cube. Who don't love Friday?
Right.
Hell yeah. I mean, everybody about dead who played it anyway. Time for him to up some more people. So you gotta
have some new characters.
Yeah, you need me, Ice Cube. Call me. Call me, Ice Cube. I'm here.
Ms.Pat, if you could have dinner with 4 people, dead or alive, who would those 4 people be at the dinner table with you?
Whitney Houston. It would be Whitney Houston. It would be Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor. Who else? Dead or alive? I would probably put Chappelle there. And who else? Fred Sanford. Bernie Mac. Right. Yeah.
What have you, being in this business and being successful as you watch your career grow, what have you learned most about money?
Investing. Taxes. You got to pay a lot of taxes. You know what's crazy? Because when they started saying, oh, you need an accountant, because you just making money. I ain't gonna lie. I was making money. I ain't paying that here. Then eventually the IRS say, hey, you got to pay this.
Yeah.
So before the IRS could say that, my people got me with the right person to say, you got to pay your taxes. Mm-hmm. And the amount of taxes that I had to pay, I was fussing. Why I got to pay all that? They don't know I'm black. He was like, they don't care.
They don't. They want their money.
They want their money.
They want their cut.
So I had to learn. Like, I heard Kevin Hart say this many times. You got to take 50% of what you earn and put it to the side for taxes. And, you listening, whatever, because you're not in that tax bracket. Right. But that is so true. So that's what I find myself doing. I don't ever want to have an IRS problem. And I want to invest so I can leave my kids and grandkids stuff. Right. So that's what I do.
I think you mentioned it earlier. But have you ever, I think the hardest thing is, Ms.Pat, is that when we come up, people that came up like family and sometimes friends, they were there when you didn't have anything. Mm-hmm. So they're there for the long haul. But telling people no. And you have to, after you get to a certain point, you have to be willing to tell people no.
That's hard, because they think you got it or they know you got it. Mm-hmm. And I have to tell my families and sometimes my friends, I don't have it. I can't do it. Even if I got it, I have to think like this, Shannon. My husband is retired. Mm-hmm. We're on one income. I have my 4 kids. I have 2 kids at the house. I have 4 kids that I have custody of. And I have a lot to take care of. If I go down, a lot go down.
Yes.
So I can't take care of other households. And
I can say only what's on my ship.
And my brother, I was talking to one of my brothers the other day. He was like, won't you help somebody out? You got all that money. You got 2 TV shows. I said, ain't what you think it is. He said, just give me $1,000. I said, well, what you gonna do with $1,000? I'm invest it. I said, how? I'm gonna buy me a house. What, $1,000? I said, boy, you can't even get concrete for $1,000. You still smoking crack, ain't you? But he was like, well, give me 10,000. I'm not going to give you nothing. And I told my brother, I don't owe you anything. Mm-hmm. Just because y'all see me on TV and y'all think I got it, I do. I probably do have it, but I ain't got it for you. Right. And I have no damn problem saying no.
Not to waste it.
I don't. Because I got my own family. And that's what they don't understand. Right. When Biggie said more money, more problem, he was not lying. Yeah. And one of them problems is, y'all, the IRS. And I gotta always have their money. Mm-hmm. And I can't keep their money in my titty like I do my other money. Cause they gonna send somebody over there to get their money.
Ms.Pat, what's it been like growing up where you grew up? Now you in the burbs. You got a gate, you got a big house, you got 15, 20,000 square feet, you got a pool, probably got a guest house.
I just did my pool house. I'm working on it now.
See there? I know it. I know it.
It's nice. It's nice to walk. I don't like walking the property. I said, damn, this a lot of land. I bought 7 acres. Wow. And I built the house on. There was a house there and I knocked it down and I wanted the house to be a certain way. So I just decided to build it have contracted out myself. Mm-hmm. And it feels good, to pull up in there and it feel good not to struggle. It feel good to pull up at my house and say, this is our house. It feel good and I'm not bragging, to pull up in my yard and there's 8 cars there. And some days I don't know where the keys are now, no car. Right. It feel good to know things are paid off. It feel good to know that my hard work has paid off. Mm-hmm. I've blessed my kids. I've blessed my grandkids. That's my immediate family. I'm happy.
Right.
And I didn't get it by stealing.
Let me ask you, when you were working at McDonald's, I read that you served Jimmy Carter once. Did he come through the drive-thru or he came in?
He came in. Poor Jimmy Carter. I always wanted to ask him, do he remember me? I was working at McDonald's on Tar Boulevard.
Okay.
And I'm stealing out the register. And Jimmy Carter walked in. I don't know nothing about no presidents. I'm just now trying to get my life back together. And I looked up and I said, you look familiar. And he said, young lady, give me a cheeseburger, a side salad, and a water. So the boy and the girl was like, Patricia. He said, that's Jimmy Carter. I look at Jimmy Carter and said, I told you I knew you. Secret Service fell out laughing. But before they walk in a public building like that, Secret Service come in first. So I'm thinking did I violate my probation? Or do they know I'm stealing? What the hell going on? Because he just looking all around. He got something in his ear. I know a police. And Jimmy Carter walk in. And when I said that crap to Jimmy Carter, that Secret Service hollered. And I called my husband. I said, I met that Jimmy Carter. My husband said, don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say you said it. You didn't say it like that. I said, yeah, I said it like that. Because my husband is mild-mannered, well-spoken, watch a lot of news, a lot of sports. He don't talk. He don't even curse.
Wow. Ms.Pat settles it. You play a judge.
Yes.
Where you settle cases. Botched BBL, someone getting catfish. What is one of the craziest stories that you had to settle?
A guy came in there and he was a nude chef.
A nude chef?
Yes.
Who are you cooking for?
Whoever hired. And Carlos Miller said the funniest stuff. He said, well, what do you do? Do you ask your customer, do they have a nut allergy? I hollered. That's one of the most memorable and funniest cases, which is this season, the second season. That show came out of nowhere. Me and my co-creator talked about a judge show, and then I hooked up with Sally Ann with $4.95, and she helped me develop it. And I didn't know it was gonna do it. I didn't know people was gonna take it the way they did, and they love it. And I thank y'all for loving it and keep loving it so I can get a third season.
You had Ray J as a special guest on there, right?
Yes, I did. He's crazy.
He is.
Ray J is crazy.
I had him on here too.
Oh, Ray J called me one day and said, Ms.Pat, I got an idea for you. I said, what, Ray J? You should be a what are those women who be like young boys? A madam.
Yeah.
I said, what the hell you talking about, Jay? Yeah, you should be a madam and you should come on the young guy. I said, Ray J, I'm married. I can't do that. I can't be nobody madam. I'm 52 going through menopause. Ray J, let me call you back.
Right. Did you see the story that Ray J and Diddy's son almost got into it? Ray J always is a mess, ain't he?
You know what? I thought Ray J was on the news for real when he was reporting that about Diddy. And Ray J don't look like no fighter.
Right.
And I was like, they're going to whoop Ray J. When I figured out it was a skit, I said, they're going to whoop Ray J ass, keep on talking about Diddy. And then next thing I know, they're in an altercation at a Halloween party.
Ms.Pat, as somebody that's spent time in jail, do you have any, what advice would you give Diddy if he's in jail? I mean, 'cause obviously you were in general population. You weren't a celebrity.
No,
he ain't in G-pop.
Well, he probably got it a lot better than I had it.
Yeah, and I'm saying but you know, it's after being around people for an extended period of time, you need to be around people. He's not around nobody. He's probably not talking to anybody but the guards if he's talking to the guards.
I don't know, because, you know, people always ask me, have I been to a Diddy party? I don't go to nobody party. I go home. I mind my business. Yeah. I'm praying Diddy for you. I hope you get out. Yeah. He got a family. I don't know. I don't know I don't get into it. I don't read the stuff on him. I don't follow it. I mind my damn business, because I don't know.
I mean, if some celebrity would have had a party, let's just say for the sake of argument, some celebrity had a party in Cali, at LA or wherever, and they invited me, I probably would have went too.
Now, I probably would have went too, but if I walked in there and everybody was having sex, I probably would have left.
I'd turn around and walk right up out of there.
I probably would have. I know I would have walked right up out of there, because the last thing I want to see is somebody having sex.
Yeah. So no, I don't want to see that.
You know, I don't know. So I wish you luck. I'm trying to keep my own clean.
Yeah. So what have you learned about Hollywood? Being a part of Hollywood, you got 2 shows, you got 2 hit shows, you're on the road. What have you learned about Hollywood?
Don't believe everything you hear or see. It's fake. It's fake. Everybody ain't your friend. Everybody ain't happy for you. It's not what you think it is. You know, it's portrayed one way. Some of the most miserable people I ever ran into. You know, everybody put on this facade like they happy or they something, and they're not. And believe it or not, half of them struggling worse than you.
Yes. But that's the biggest misconception, that everybody, he in Hollywood and everybody got a big mansion and everybody got a hit show and everybody making tons and tons of money. And a lot of these actors and actresses are struggling.
Yeah. I mean, it showed you when we went through that strike. And you know, that's I look at a lot of that stuff and I try to learn from it. Like, I saw Justin Bieber's on there talking about somebody stole his money. I watch my money. And I ask questions. You're not gonna play I have no problem calling you saying, where the fuck my check at? Just like that. Ain't no third party. I'm calling you myself. Where my money at? Get my money. Get my money. And I'm not gonna send my money to nobody first. I'm gonna pay you because you work for me.
Right.
And what happened is, a lot of time people like, I just send my money here and there and y'all pay me. I check everybody. I call my biddy man. Explain this to me. Don't you go in my damn bank account without me getting a code saying you can go in there, and I'm gonna ask you what you need.
Right.
Because I need to go in there with you.
Right.
Because I used to steal. Shit. You think a thief gonna trust somebody?
No.
Hell, I know God gonna get me back for what I did.
Right.
But you ain't gonna get me back as long as I got 2 eyes and no cataracts. I be watching my money, and I know they be like, this a old untrustworthy bitch. You ain't gonna have me back at the po house. Because I'm too old to prostitute, and I'm too old to do them tricky things.
Ms.Pat, what are your thoughts on plastic surgery? Should women get plastic surgeries, BBLs? Are you okay with that?
You know what? Everybody looks the same. You know, I mean, who am I to say I'm fat? They gonna go in the comment and be like, bitch, you fat. But, you know, I ain't gonna lie. If I lost a few pounds, I would get my stomach cut off because I like to see my vagina before I die. But all this shit, these black women running around here getting extra lips. Why you need lips? You black. You already got lips. You got Negro lips on top of Negro lips.
Right.
You know, And it's not real. You know, for the way they look. But these are the bitches that can't keep nobody. As beautiful as some of them are, they can't keep no man. So who are you doing it for? Who are you doing it for? I love Kendrick Lamar. He had the song say, "Where the scratch marks at?"
Right.
I was like, right here, nigga. Right here, Kendrick. But I mean, it makes me think that sometimes, you know, women are just not happy with the way they look because of what social media has created. I mean, and I'm quite sure you had all types of women, Shannon. I mean, how many times have you hit somebody from the back and their ass went up their back? And you gotta help her get that ass plant out of her back. And you gotta act like it ain't nothing, but you like, I don't really want that went flat on one side. I mean, think about that. And I'm not saying I'm no Beyonce. Beyonce is gorgeous. I got some issues. I'm fat. I know I'm fat, but I'm happy.
Right.
And when I lose some weight, I'm gonna get my stomach cut off. But I ain't gonna buy no ass. I got this from government butter and cheese. Getting your neck. People in here getting lipoed on their neck. People done cut their nose down till they can't breathe no damn more. I'm like, when is enough is enough? Yeah. You know, we getting eyebrows permanent put on. It makes me say, as beautiful as black women are, when is enough is enough? When are we gonna be happy with ourselves?
Are they doing it to get a man, or are they doing it to impress other women? Why would women get
probably to impress other women? That's what we do. Because a man, come on, Shannon, how many girls you done slept with and they had their wig slid off?
Okay. I ain't gonna lie, Ms.Pat, I gotta have a couple of them yours.
I mean,
bigger than you, Ms.Pat.
Bigger than me. Goddamn. That was before the money. Cause I know you ain't lifting these kind of legs with the money. Or was y'all gas off and you need to stay warm?
It was before the money, Ms.Pat. It was before the money.
Yeah,
but you know, hey, I don't know if guys like a woman has to have a BBL. Guys, you know how guys are.
Y'all like trophy pieces, instead of just wives. It's hard to be a wife now, to just be at home.
But the wives want to be a wife. It's easy to say that, but is that what they want?
That's what I want. Yeah. But that's not what everybody want, And my husband fat too. Shit, he ain't gonna tell me go get no BBL. When he up there, we both need a BBL. And that's probably why I'm not pressured into getting any type of plastic surgery. And I know y'all gonna say, "Oh, she got diabetes." For your information, I don't have no diabetes. I'm just chunky, and I gained a few pounds before I got here because I was stressed out about the election. But I'm gonna lose those few pounds. Yeah. But I think it has a lot just to do with people not happy with the way they look. And I'm not happy with the way I look either, but I'm not going to do all that. Right. I'm not going to go out. I got boobs, so I don't have to buy boobs. I just got a little extra stomach. I don't need no more ass. I don't care nothing about running down no beach in no swimsuit. I don't care nothing about, I'm 52. I wear a panty liner. 2, one in the front and the back.
Come on, Ms.Pat.
Come on for what? Ask your mama. She wear 2 too.
My mama 81.
Well, she got on 4. Shit, she got on 2 Pampers. That thing juicy wet.
Now, you're in your 50s and you blew up later in life. A lot of people have success earlier in life, ride it out. You had success later in life. Does it make you appreciate it more now, having success later in life?
Yes. I'm so glad I didn't get it when I was with that first baby daddy. I'm so glad I didn't know this talent that I have. Oh, thank you, God. Because I was a little girl. I was funny back then, they said. But I'm so glad that I didn't become Ms.Pat until I was married with kids. And it also gave me more to talk about, too. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy I blew up while I was old.
I'm going to get you out of here on this one. Young mom, now you're a grandma. What is it like being a grandma? What type of grandma is Ms.Pat?
I be cussing them kids out. My grandson said, I don't want to go over her house. She be hollering at us all the time. Because, you know, I don't have to pay. Set your ass down.
See?
Set your ass. You ain't going to run in and out my house, let my AC and heat out my house. But I love my grandbabies, and I'm happy. You know, I told my daughter-in-law, I said, don't have no more kids by my son. Y'all don't need no more kids. Don't let that man keep messing up your body. He ain't worth it. Get your tubes tied. She got her tubes tied. And 3 is enough. So it's twin boys and it's 1 girl. So I love being a grandmama because I look forward to spoiling them and sending them back out the door.
Yeah. So you let whatever the parents want to allow them to do, you let them do it?
Hell no. My granddaughter got a cell phone. Well, I got 4 other kids in my house the same age. And I got an 8-year-old and I have an 11-year-old and my granddaughter's 11. She got a cell phone. Nobody don't have a cell phone in my house. I don't play that. Because when you put that computer in their hand, they're exposed to the world. Mm-hmm. You know, my granddaughter literally texted me this morning and said, oh my God, Trump won. Are we going to be okay? Well, the other kids didn't say that because they don't got no phone and we ain't had a TV on. So she out there putting all of this negative and positive stuff in her head. It's just too much.
Right.
It's just too much for a kid. A kid shouldn't be worrying about no election. A kid should be a kid. And I don't think my granddaughter get to be a kid because my son them gave her a cell phone too young.
Right. Your Falcons, y'all doing good. Y'all the top of the NFC South. You won like 3-4 games in a row. Just beat the Cowboys. Y'all beat the Bucks. Hey, y'all riding high. How do you feel about your Falcons, and do you believe Kirk Cousins can take them all the way?
You know, when we first got Cousin, I didn't want him. Let me say that I'm a diehard Michael Vick fan.
Yes.
I was there when Vick first got there. Mm-hmm. The year that Vick went to jail, that's the year I left here and went to Indiana with my husband's job. So I love me some Michael Vick. Mm-hmm. I do. And I just have not been able to accept anybody since he's gone, since he left. And so when we got Kirk Cousins, I said, okay, here go this $100 million white boy, ain't gonna do nothing no more. But I've been paying attention. And I gave up my Falcon tickets this year, and I wish I hadn't.
Damn.
Because I had 5 tickets, and they was down.
Yeah.
Like, down on the floor.
Yeah, in the bowl. Yeah. And you gave them up Ms.Pat?
Yes, I did. They cost some money because, you know, we were just not winning. I'm like, I can't keep spending this kind of money. But I'm so happy because everybody know I'm a diehard Falcon fan. Mm-hmm. I will slap you in your face about a Falcon. I love the Falcons. I was literally getting off a plane coming to every game. I love my Falcons. That's my team. I love the Falcons. And I'm so happy they doing well, and we're going to go to the playoffs.
You guys were up 28-3 in the Super Bowl.
I was at the game.
Have you gotten over that?
I gotten over it, but you know, I don't know if you ever heard the story that I tell about the Falcon killed my sister-in-law. That night when we was winning, I was talking so much trash to New England fan. Lee Daniel gave me 2 Super Bowl tickets to go to Houston to go to the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. CBS gave me tickets, or ABC, whoever it was. I'm talking mad shit to these folks. Just talking stuff.
Fox gave me tickets because I was out Super Bowl.
It was Fox. Mm-hmm. Fox gave me tickets because that's what my show was at the time. I don't put on my 2 panty liners. I'm there just talking trash. Baby, let me tell you, when halftime came and they started to come back, I couldn't believe it. I'm screaming and hollering. Please don't. I go to the bathroom, praying in the bathroom. I get a phone call from my husband. He said, my sister just had a heart attack watching the Falcon game. And I literally said, fuck your sister. The Falcon about to lose Super Bowl. He called me back and said, she passed away. And I was like, I don't care. The Falcons lost the Super Bowl. And I walk out the door and Channel 5 there. I won't talk. My sister-in-law done died, but she died in the 3rd quarter. And you know, it was when they were still kind of up. So she went to heaven thinking we won.
Thinking we won, huh?
But it's the people who stayed behind that day, like me and you, know the difference, that they did not win.
They did not.
And I used to tell that story all the time. They killed my sister-in-law. But I still go to the game. And I make sure I take an aspirin before I go so my heart can beat right.
Hot and flashy stand-up tour. Get your tickets, www.MsPatComedy.com. Season 4, The Ms.Pat Show, is now streaming on BET+, and Season 2 of Ms.Pat Settles is streaming on BET. Ms.Pat, Thanks for coming by.
Thank you. Thank y'all for having me.
All my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice, that's why. All my life, I've been grinding all my life. Look, all my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice, that's why.